All right. Get the live chat up and
Already
running.
be looking for all those things.
Yes. Pretty sure. Generally, that is what they should be doing out there.
I saw Scared Straight, and I forgot what Scared Straight was for a minute. And I thought it was something else. So like, yes.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh wait, the other thing.
Yes. That thing.
No, I don't think that. So mostly kids would go there.
But it's child abuse.
Have your children gone through it? Then how do you know it's child abuse?
I bet you're going to find most of the parents whose kids go through it are totally in favor of the program.
Except for that one who flipped off all the criminals in the world.
Yeah, well, there's that. What's up, everybody?
News powered by Sucramer Interiors. Elegance and style. Value your home with brands like Stickley, Hancock, Theodore.
Sonic has deep-fried Oreos in some cities, huh? All right, let's look it up.
So it is
Hi,
like
I'm Jay
every
Farmer,
4-H
CEO
fair
of
ever.
America's largest mortgage lender. Spring
Well,
is
yeah.
here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list. Right
We gotta
now,
wait for
we
fair
can
season for that stuff.
loans. Learn about which mortgage
So,
option makes sense for you
yeah.
and get a jump on your
Fried Oreos with ice cream have been added to Sonic's menu.
The low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a rate shield approval, if rates
$2.99 served with vanilla ice cream.
that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at
Hey, Mike.
800 Quicken or go to rocketmortgage.com
Hmm.
and take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us.
My
For a
friend
record
Zach
9
just
years
bought
in a
himself
row,
a
JD Power has
2003
ranked with the
STI.
votes highest in the nation in customer
Nice.
for primary mortgage
Manual.
origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage
So
interest
participating
rate,
locations,
exclusive rate shield approval.
whatever the hell that means.
It means if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. So it's most
So it's-
locations except for like
It's,
5.
yeah, it's really not going to be like a limited city thing, so that's good. All right, you want some deep-fried Oreos? You go Sonic. I suppose you probably grab my headphones.
Casey Hendrickson, News
Yeah.
Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I want pass.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574 2595 953. That is 2595 953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. I want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Okay, so tomorrow and Sunday, the Guns and Everything Outdoor Spring Show is happening. $5 to get in. Kids 12 and under are free. Door prizes, everything for hunting, camping, fishing, trapping, everything really for the outdoors is going to be out there. I'm going to be out there floating around, but I'll probably be hanging out at the Second Amendment Arms booth most of the time. I should be there tomorrow around 10-ish. So if you go out there, look for me, shake hands, kiss babies, or kiss hands, shake babies, whichever one you prefer, and we'll see you tomorrow. Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. Again, it all starts at 9 Eastern Time. All right. Human beings. Since it's Friday, I like starting with stuff that isn't necessarily the big story that everybody is talking about. We'll get to a lot today. Humans could get supervision. Now, we've talked about this for quite some time. There are various bits of technology that are being developed. And so Google Glass, right? Remember, we got to play with Google Glass when Google Glass was still a thing. And we got, our buddy Grant, he brought it in. We got to play with it, uploaded some videos on it. Now, of course, I told you about my pivot head glasses, which are amazing video recording glasses. And the Google Glass is fun. But of course, everybody had a collective freak out about Google Glass. For some reason, they all thought their privacy was going to be jacked up because somebody was wearing these things, which made absolutely no sense, because why would you be in any way, shape, or form concerned about somebody wearing a camera on their face you can fully see and not all of the other cameras that they have on them anyway? because we all walk around with cameras with higher resolution than the original space shuttle had, for crying out loud. Okay, so you can probably relax a little bit about that. But the project moved, instead of going to the consumer market, they basically moved it to contact lenses. So Google is developing the contact lenses right now. So we expect in the next decade or so, and it depends on who you talk to on when the technology will hit the consumer market, that we will have contact lenses that will have full heads-up displays. So we'll be walking around, we'll have little HUD devices and everything else inside of our eyeballs. I'm totally down for this, by the way. Some people are freaked out by it. I'm cool with it. Bring on the number of the beast. So this stuff is going to give you like your GPS and your distance to target, all of that stuff, you know, right there in your eyeball. It's probably going to be more beneficial for people in big cities than it will be for most people in rural areas or smaller cities, but it's still going to be pretty neat. Now, I don't know how many of you watched The Black Mirror. The Black Mirror did a whole thing on that. Did you watch that one?
Probably.
The contact lenses?
I've seen all of them. So
the contact lenses where you see somebody and it immediately scans them and their entire social media history.
Yeah.
And you know everything about them right then and there.
And
you can block them, right? And they can, and then they can't see you. You're all fuzzed out. That's really interesting.
And the criminals get blocked by everybody automatically.
Right.
That one.
Yeah, exactly. You get like a public shaming and all of that stuff. China's kind of doing that right now with their camera stuff. I had a story about that this week, but I didn't really talk about it. So anyway, this is a little bit different than that. Okay, this is different than the heads-up display. This is improving your vision, particularly in the dark. So for those of you who are not very good at seeing in the dark and maybe are uncomfortable seeing in the dark, we all have obviously reduced vision in the dark, but we know that our eyes adjust. But still, there's some people just don't do very well at nighttime. Humans could get X-Men supervision. What do they got to throw X-Men in there? What's that about? Like, you're not going to get X-Men supervision. Which one of the X-Men has supervision anyway?
None of
them. Now, you give me Cyclops' power, we could talk, okay? If I'm having a death ray coming out of my eyeballs.
Yeah, but he can't control that.
But he can't control it, right.
Just terrifying.
But give me death ray, I'm down. Humans could get X-Men supervision to see in the dark after nanoparticles let mice see infrared. Dude, I'm all about this. Like, I already want to cut off my left arm. Like, I don't even want it. Just strap a can into it. Like, we're good to go. Maybe like a mini Gatling gun.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah, like maybe like a mini Gatling gun. Something like that. Yeah, totally all about that.
Like the guy from Final Fantasy?
It's just my left arm. I don't need it. I don't know. Is there a guy like that in Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy
no idea.
7, yeah.
Okay. He copied it from somebody else. So anyway, so the idea of this, humans could get the power to see in the dark after mice were injected with nanoparticles, which gave them the ability to see infrared. So this is not a contact. This is an actual injection, okay? This is like, you know, let's put the trackers and stuff like that underneath your skin. The rodents were given infrared night vision for 10 weeks after the injection with only minor side effects in an experiment conducted by Chinese and U.S. scientists. Gee. Our two countries are working together on this. You know, both of us have military applications for this, right? Everybody understands that? Okay. The team at the University of Science and Technology of China said that they could modify a human's vision to detect a wider spectrum of colors. Current infrared technology allows the user to see heat emitted from animals, but its effectiveness is hampered by bulky batteries and interference from visible light. Okay, bulky batteries are a bit of an issue right now. Nanoparticles inserted into the eyes of mice boosted their vision. Please tell me you can put this in your arm. Okay, if it's going to be injecting in my eye, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. Can we have it as an eye drop? Like, I'll do an eye drop, okay? Eye drops are already bad enough for me, but I'll do an eye drop. But it boosted their vision beyond the normal range of colors that they can detect and enabled the rodents to see infrared light. Lead research. You got a question?
How do they know the rodents are seeing it?
I don't know. I don't know, dude. We run around and pretend like we know how animals... We don't know how animals see any of this stuff. We don't have any clue. Oh, we reconstruct it in a lab and the computer software tells us what it's like. We don't know that the software's right.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
How are we...
We're all flying blind on this.
Claim.
Okay. I love saying this because you got all of these people who study dinosaurs and everything, right? You realize we know absolutely nothing about dinosaurs. Zero.
We know their bone structure.
We know that they existed and we know what their bones look like, but we still don't know that we're assembling the bones right. Remember that recent dinosaur they found out after 100 years? We figured out, oh, by the way, we were assembling this dinosaur wrong. So it looks totally different. So we have no idea what the dinosaurs look. We don't know what they sounded like. We don't know how intelligent they were. We don't know the size of their brains. You can kind of see the pocket a little bit, but they still have no idea how the brain functioned. They don't even know what their skin was like. We just assume they're reptiles. We don't know that. We got no clue. A lot of people think that they had feathers. I mean, we know that some of them probably had feathers, but a lot of people think that even Tyrannosaurus Rex had feathers.
Oh, yeah.
So,
like a giant chicken.
Basically, we know jack squat. We like running around pretending that we know.
Makes us all feel better.
You ever watch these historical documentaries on like Rome and things like that? Now, they will go to certain areas in Rome. They're like, this is where they did this, they did this, they did this. And then when you ask the person, okay, so how do we know that they do that? And they go, well, we're just piecing things together from stuff that we assume from other regions that are nearby that may or may not have happened, that haven't been written down. We have no idea. We got no clue. We're just making it up as we go. And we got a bunch of Roman experts floating around telling us a bunch of crap that's probably not even true. But hey, we're enlightened because of it. Anyway, sidebar. So we're talking about the mice getting injected with stuff now. Okay. Lead researcher Dr. Tian Zhu said that the applications include military use, and could be adapted to treat people who are colorblind and can't detect red. All right, that's cool. We believe that this technology will also work in human eyes, not only for generating supervision, but also for therapeutic solutions in human red color vision deficits. This is an exciting subject because the technology we made possible here could eventually enable human beings to see beyond our natural capabilities. The research was published in Cell and tested in nanoparticles in mice. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, very terrible writing. The UK Sun. The research was published in Cell, and then there was no period in space. So anyway, then they go into what the treatment actually is. Sorry, that's bad writing. The researchers made nanoparticles that could anchor tightly to photoreceptor cells and act as tiny infrared light transducers, which basically means you can see in the dark. All right, so this is pretty cool. Dude, I'm all about this. Heck yeah. You can have us. You imagine the night driving capability? If this gets people to stop using their bright lights in this area, I'm all for it because y'all are nuts with that stuff. I don't know why you ride around with your bright lights on in a well-lit area where you don't need your bright lights, but so many of you do. And the thing is like, I can't take a certain path home anymore because everybody uses their bright lights on there. And nobody turns them off. I mean, they all just keep going. Oh, you're going to be blind? Yeah, so what? We don't care. You can go in a ditch so long as I can see 10 miles instead of 5 miles. I don't know. It's stupid. Stop using your bright lights. Like, seriously, you're not that blind. So we may have bionic vision. So we could have one eye seeing infrared and the other eye with the Google HUD display. Yo, we're going to be messing some Martians up. Did you see that they found potential underwater water tunnels or underground water tunnels on Mars? Yeah, buddy. I mean, they've said that before and it's been nothing. But, you know, hey, let's have hope. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news weather station.
Friggin' hate people using their bright lights. God.
Yeah, high beams need the high beams. Turn on and turn off the brights.
Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists.
Always have them on. Well-lit night. You can see the road just fine with your normal headlights. And somebody's got to have their friggin' brights on.
People with trucks who don't go off road and don't tow.
Usually, yeah.
And then put on LED lights
And don't point them near the ground. They point them straight up. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
those
they go right behind you when you're going 50 and then 3 and right on your butt the entire time.
Those people. Yep, exactly. They have a picture of Cyclops in the article too. Like, okay, that's not his power, but
He sees nothing but red.
that's right. All he sees is red.
He is.
So,
He is green, blue.
can you be a racist if you only see red? I don't think you can.
I'm Les Anderson, owner
Right.
of the Times. We're a full-service
Yeah,
site company. We've been in business
orange,
now going on 14 years. We have
green,
2 stores located
blue,
in Elkhart. A lot of
yellow,
the services we offer, the vehicle wraps have just taken off in the last
indigo,
couple
and
years.
light.
Maybe they just put too much blinker fluid in the bulb.
You see it on your vehicle.
And yeah, the new LEDs are much brighter, but I mean, you can tell when somebody's just got LEDs and somebody's got their brights on. Like when you're blind and you can't see and you have to close your eyes. And like I said, you know, you're supposed to you're supposed to, point them down a little bit, and people have them just like, whoop, straight ahead, just gonna mess with you.
$25 t-shirt to feel like you're a $10,000 customer. It doesn't really matter. I honestly believe one of the most important things in business is taking care of people, and that their job, no matter how big or small, is important to us.
From wraps to signs, apparel and fleets. Display your brand with Signs of the Times in Elkhart.
It would be nice if they would have went his name, party, state, and then they listed everything so I know where he's from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Washington State's a giant mess. Look to Washington State. We govern fantastically. You seen Washington State lately? It's an absolute mess.
Your breaking news and weather station.
It may soon be illegal to do this with your pet. I'll explain Monday morning starting at
What the word is sex.
Mark Frigill on News Talk 95.3 M&C.
See, there we go. Got Jeffrey on there. I drive a semi. This is my biggest pet peeve. I'm telling you. And yes, some people have asked a very good question. How do you know it's just not the HID lights or the new brighter LED lights? You can tell. There's the lights that are brighter and they just kind of, you can tell that they're brighter. They hurt a little bit. But then there's the lights that you, from like a quarter mile away, can't even keep your eyes on the road. And they just have that extra glare about them versus the piercing HID light. Yeah, those things. And people don't need them. I'm driving down the road with a fogged up headlight, normal old 2001 bulbs in that thing. I see just fine for like miles. I don't understand what people need that for, but go figure. Paranoid schizos, I guess. 574-25-95-95-3. That's 2595-953. And you can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I do want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. For many, many years, I have been telling you about the Seasteading Institute. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Seasteading Institute is, it is a group of individuals who is trying to put together their own country of floating platforms in international waters. Now, the idea is to establish a libertarian sort of nation-state thing out in the open ocean. And for many, many years, they've been trying to do this, and I followed them, I've interviewed them, I've brought people up to date on their progress, and then it seemed like they kind of dropped off the planet. Well, they've actually had some progress. So for the first time, we actually have some progress here, and it was all because of Bitcoin. People who got rich off of Bitcoin all of a sudden had the stupid amount of money it takes to do this. So they did it. Seasteading was conceived more than a decade ago out of libertarian enthusiasm for the possibilities of improving governance through an explosive proliferation of new polities? Building modular floating land on the high seas, its advocates argue, would increase our ability to escape the depredations of existing governments. Okay, so the idea, again, this was originally supposed to be like off the coast of California, just inside international waters. So you wouldn't be in an area that was really storm-driven. You're not too far away from mainland, and you can get away in an emergency or something of that nature. But basically, you would have a platform, a bunch of platforms that would come together, lock together, and this would be the new country, be a new residence. And they would have its government, which would be based on libertarian principles. People who did not contribute to an economic society wouldn't be welcome. And those who did, had services that were in demand or in need, then they would have a place at these various institutes. Of course, everybody needs a radio host, right? Of course, everybody needs a knife maker. So I guess I'm okay. I got backup plans. In a short video documentary that debuted last night, part 1 of a 4-part series that will be rolled out over the next week, Seasteading Institute President John Quirk, co-author of the book Seasteading, How Floating Nations Will Restore the Environment, Enrich the Poor, Cure the Sick, and Liberate Humanity from Politicians. Can we get people to just write a flippin' book with 3 words as the title? Can we get that now? This is why people don't read books anymore, because by the time you get done with the title of the book, you don't even want to open this stupid thing. So anyway, it tells the story of the first functional one-family seastead, which now exists 12 nautical miles off the coast of Thailand. Huh. Interesting choice. Not where I would have put it, but okay. Its inhabitants are Chad Elwartowski and Nadia Summergirl. In a chat window interview before the video premiered on YouTube last night, Elwartowski told me that his main motivation has been finding true liberty in this lifetime. I participated in several other projects that promised but never delivered, including the Free State Project, which is a dumb thing, Libertarian Party elections, Ron Paul campaign, other seasteading projects, that sort of thing. Now he's living in a private seastead in international waters along with Thai native Summergirl, who says in the video that she was tired after 10 years of seeing seasteading remain just talk. It's one of the reasons that I just told you about a decade. I'm like, you know what? They're not really doing anything. I just want to get seasteading happen. I just want to get seasteading happening for real. I want to make it happen here in Thailand. The team surrounding the project were early adopters of Bitcoin, and with wealth acquired that way, it was spent around $150,000 on the project. Actually, $150,000 to get your own pad in international waters is not too shabby. Of course, you got to fight the pirates yourself. It's about $30,000 more than they anticipated, as it is an experiment. We ended up adding and adding and adding, he says. The seastead has been floating since February 2nd. We've been about a week on, week off as we take care of things on land. This past week, we bought a sailboat and we're having the bottom painted, so we have a commuter boat. After that, we should be there full time, except for going to visit the many islands around us. So the seastead is a mere 6 meter square. It's a 2-story octagon. Tightness, I'm looking at pictures of it. Tightness has never been an issue for us, they say. We lived in a small bungalow in Tahiti, so all right, makes sense. I lived in a small box for 2 years in Afghanistan. There's plenty of room. Nadia likes to fish while I'm either working or on the seastead down below or on the computer in the bedroom. So I guess they've got internet. So their octagon sits atop a floating spar ballasted with concrete and sand. It is 20 meters long, 2 meters in diameter, and 14 millimeters thick, according to the website of the venture that builds and places it. So I got to see how much I can get one of these things for. Hopefully I can get it for cheaper than $150,000. See, going under the name Ocean Builders, which use mostly local Thai labor, the seastead is able to withstand 5-meter waves, but will be sitting in the Andaman Sea. Never heard of it. Where the average waves, where is it? Just jumped on me. The average wave height is 0.5 meter. So it can stand waves up to 5 meters, but the average waves for this particular area are just 0.5 meter. So interesting. So they have not bothered trying to make deals with the government of Thailand. They say we have been keeping under the radar so far, but we follow all of the laws of Thailand. So it's as if we're just living on a boat in the water as far as they're concerned. As we expect from the Thai government is that they follow international law. We will be doing the same, but Nadia and I aren't doing anything that we can't do on land. So even though they're in international waters, they're basically, because they're so close to Thailand, they're just not risking it. So they're doing whatever Thailand says is legal, and then hopefully they'll be left alone. The Seasteading Institute is not directly involved in the project, aside from Quirk documenting and spreading its story in his role as Seavangelist. But Quirk also says that he's more than thrilled to see an actual seastead in existence. So I just want to point this out, because this has been my frustration with these things, because these things are big, bold ideas, right? And they run out there and they ask for money and they produce these little films, they get investors and everything else, and then nothing happens. So these people spent $150,000 and they're living on a flotilla out in the middle of international waters. The Seasteading Institute for 10 years has not been able to put one in the ocean, with millions of dollars in donations. So a couple of people used some Thai laborers and they were able to get this thing done. So that could make you think that the Seasteading Institute, who I've been a big fan of in principle, but their practicality just hasn't played out, makes you wonder if the Seasteading Institute is actually more interested in just kind of making money and getting attention by pushing the idea, but not actually accomplishing anything. And yet you've got this young couple. Here they come. They're like, yeah, we got $150,000. Sure, let's go ahead and do this thing. So I'm looking at pictures of it. It's pretty interesting. And it is 2 stories, and it kind of looks like the old German grenades from World War II. That's kind of what it looks like. And so the idea is the thing that the stick that goes down in the water is what's going to keep it all level, and that sort of thing. I don't know what the movements are like. I assume it's pretty similar to a boat and that sort of thing. But it's the first of a 4-part series of videos. And it would just launch on YouTube. This will all be in the Daily Show prep today. So if you don't want to go looking for it, that's fine. It'll be there, and you can go watch the first video and then keep up on the other videos. But they're kind of unveiling all of this to the world. And we'll see, now that Thailand is going to learn about it, we'll kind of see what Thailand has to say about it. And again, their position is hopefully Thailand will respect international law, and we will just be a boat out here, and that's how they will treat us. So I guess we will find out with all of that. I don't know if this thing, because I haven't seen the video yet, I've only read the article. I don't know if this thing like floats, moves, if it is permanently anchored in place. I'm not exactly sure how all of this works. I assume you're going to learn all of that by watching the videos, but still pretty interesting. Ocean Builders also has a blog that you can kind of check out as they documented the building and construction of this particular facility. All right. We'll get to some harder stuff now. We'll get to all of the normal news that's out there and irritating all of you coming up in just a couple of minutes. Don't forget the 5 o'clock free for all. So that's the final hour free for all in the 5 o'clock hour, which is open lines. You can call about anything you want after 5. That'll be happening today because it is Friday. It is Friday, right? It is Friday? Yes, cool. Friday. So open lines in the 5 o'clock hour. And again, you can watch the live stream by going to youtube.com/Casey the host. While you're there, please subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and hit the bell icon to get notified of any new videos that get uploaded. We'll have the Momo segment from yesterday get uploaded there because some people don't believe me. They're mad at me. They're angry at me for saying the Momo is a hoax. They're really upset. None of them have actually seen it, though, Joe. But they know somebody who's trustworthy who has. MNC News Time is 3:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news.
The Momo video is already up.
Huh?
The Momo video is already up.
Michiana's news channel.
Did it post?
Yeah. About an hour ago.
Cool.
And online at 953mnc.com.
Then I saw it there. On the page.
Swizzo Dizzo.
Snow showers early, mainly in Michigan, early tomorrow, and then on Sunday. And then a round of snow showers mainly in the afternoon to early evening hours.
I'm just kind of like clicking through the video. Interesting.
Spring practice gets underway for the Notre Dame football team. He says a lot of good things are blossoming with the team.
We're seeing young men that are now in a leadership position.
Yeah, so Ocean Builders actually has like pictures of it in the water, like from underneath the surface, so you can kind of see what it does inside the ocean.
In a lot of ways, I think you'll see physical gains.
Pretty cool. Pretty neat. I guess we'll find out how resilient it is when they hit their first big wave, right?
Assault on 2 campus officers who found him unconscious in an Uber, smelling of booze as they tried to help him from the vehicle to his dorm room. He's expected back in court in mid-April.
So I saw the headline, is Crowder suing Facebook?
Fox News, I'm Kathleen Maloney. The Trump
I saw a headline, but I wasn't sure if he had actually done it yet.
demanded top security clearance for his son-in-law.
A spokesperson for Kushner's attorney, Abby Lowell, tells Fox News, quote, in 2018 White House and security clearance confirmed that Mr. Kushner's security clearance was handled in the regular process.
Lake Michigan, huh?
Actress Katherine Hellman has passed away at the age of 89. She played Mona on the 80s hit ABC show, Who's the Boss? What is all this?
Boy, do I have a funny CNN story, which could affect Pete Buttigieg. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Hellman also appeared in Soap, Coach, and Everybody Loves Raymond. She died in Los Angeles due to complications from Alzheimer's. This is Fox News.
Oh, he's going to know by next week? Okay.
Comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
Well, after what we learned about his Facebook page with those leaked documents, that Facebook has his page listed as a deboost page, which means they're just throttling his page. So they're intentionally keeping his page from other people. And the thing is Crowder isn't like some crazy conspiracy guy. He's just a guy that talks to people.
Locally raised meats made to order American classics like walleye, bluegill, haddock, hand-cut Chairman's Reserve steak.
A stranger licks a reporter's ear and kisses his neck on live TV.
Just a short drive from anywhere in Michiana.
That sounds like sexual assault. It would be if it were a woman.
On Highway 12 in Edwardsburg.
But it is a guy, and it was in Canada.
Visit Tuesdays through Saturdays to taste what it means to
Oh,
make
she had a
America
good
great
kick up,
again.
and then the rest of her throw was crap.
You know what's fun? Refunds. And using my tax refund to save big at Family Dollar.
Gross.
Save 5, 10, and 20 bucks with Family Dollar Smart Coupons. This
Big
week,
day
we'll
for music
pack up
history.
products by 3 for $10.
No
Angel
Sleep
Pop
Till
Baptist Shores
Brooklyn
Sparkle Paper Towels
release.
for $4.50.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon release is today.
With your Family Dollar
We
Smart
also got the
Coupons.
announcements that the music industry has made more money this past year than in the previous decade.
All they just do with the fact that there's like 20 million more people.
Maybe. But people are also spending more money on CDs and vinyl than on iTunes.
Every bushel of non-GMO soybeans.
Also, everyone use iTunes.
Probably because iTunes is a garbage website.
Sell off despite good export sales for corn and
What's up, everybody? Matthew's all in there. Matthew's all excited. Look at him bringing some energy into the live chat. Look at that.
362. May goes to 370 and 3/4, 3 cents off. July 379 and a half, down 2 3/4. In soybeans.
Yeah, I saw the podcast headline come through. I subscribed his audio podcast on Podbean. I never listened to it there, but that way I get notifications of what his latest video is.
MTV launched its I Want My MTV advertising campaign today.
It is a big day, damn. That was a big deal.
Modern Kitchen, creating your dream living spaces so you can redesign, remodel, and relax. Modern Kitchen on McKinley, east of Ashland.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that. I don't know if it was on Facebook or what, Al, that you were getting on your plane and they were getting off.
Rush turns 45 this month.
Preparing for bigger games as some weaker economic news was released today. Personal spending decreasing 5/10.
The good band that people think is better than they are and listen to them way too many times. Yeah. Like 20% of the playlist on the Bears Rush.
18% after the retailer said it would split off its Old Navy
Yeah, too much.
brand into a
Little too much there.
Victoria's Secret closes 43 stores this year.
Oh, they one of them? Like several, yeah, there was an announcement today that several chains are closing stores. I didn't know they were one of them.
Over to the public markets. Among disclosures in the filing today, the company posted revenue last year of over $2 billion, which was up over $1 billion from 2017. Lyft is also offering a nice perk to some of its drivers and setting aside a currently undisclosed number of shares for drivers in good standing. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Bree Barson.
Darn it. No international waters in the Great Lakes, huh?
Taking care of customers. When companies use Cintas,
Just free-state it.
show their confidence in
Just go in the middle and go, this is mine.
first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel solutions, and helps keep
You should find out what the boating routes are.
so you know those
Just avoid the boating routes and just stick one out there. And just don't tell anybody and see if anybody notices.
they're ready for business.
You could disguise it to look like a dinghy.
Ready for the workday.
Are you overpaying Uncle Sam? Will you pay more taxes than necessary when you retire? Surveys show that most American adults get an F.
That band sucks. I can't stand Rush. They got like 2 songs that I can deal with, but holy smokes, man. People are way too into them. Way too into them. That's it. Just don't park in the shipping lanes, man. Find all those routes. Just avoid them. I think you'll be all right. They'll go around.
So why not start planning around the one you can control? Call Howard Bailey today and see how the new tax laws can benefit your bottom line. These tax planning opportunities are only expected to last for a limited time, so call today at
AccuWeather threw out a prediction on the number of tornadoes that we're going to have this season. How stupid are you? We're going to have this many tornadoes. You have no idea. Why would you even say that? You have no clue. It'd be great. It'd be great if we had none.
Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. Once again, want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, the Guns and Everything Outdoor Show, which is at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle tomorrow, 9 a.m. Also Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. $5 to get in. Kids 12 and under are totally free. Door prizes, hunting, fishing, camping, trapping, archery. I know I'm missing some stuff. All of that outdoor stuff is going to be out there. So definitely go check it out. I will be out there, and Second Amendment Arms and Range asked if I could, but I haven't actually confirmed with them that I'll be there. But I will be. So I'll just show up at their booth at like 10 o'clock. Be like, yo, I'm hanging out here for the next hour or two. So look forward to seeing you guys out there. If you do show up, it'll be great. All right, 574-2595-95.3. You've heard a lot of people talking about tax refunds, right? My tax refund is smaller than it was last year. Yes, because less tax was being taken out of your paycheck. It's this thing called math. So we didn't have the tax tables until after open enrollment was finished, okay? So the IRS basically put the tables together late. They say that they were late because of the way that the tax bill actually happened. So we'll take them at their word. But they got the tax tables done after everybody had already filled out their withholdings. So when you're doing your open enrollment for your insurance is typically when you do your withholdings. And so most people just kept it the same as the previous year. Well, you get more of your money in your paycheck, and everybody instantly noticed, holy smokes, I am getting paid more. But the problem with that is you get used to it. And then all of a sudden you don't remember getting paid less, and now you pretend that you're not getting paid more. So when your refund check comes, it's smaller because you've been keeping more of your money throughout the year. And what people were expecting was that they were also going to have bigger paychecks while getting a bigger return. And that's not what's happening. So a lot of people were using this as an opportunity to go ahead and say that this actually raised taxes on the majority of people. That is untrue. It's a total lie. This is all demonstrable, provable. The vast majority of Americans did, in fact, get a tax cut. There was about 11 million Americans who got a tax hike, okay? So tax refunds have increased this week, the Treasury Department announced on Thursday after critics attacked the initial lower refunds that resulted from Americans paying less to government coffers. Through 4 weeks of the filing season, the average tax refund in 2019 increased to $3,143. That was up from last week's average of $2,640, according to the Treasury Department. So basically, what the Treasury Department is saying is, well, now that we're 4 weeks into this, we are actually seeing that people's tax refunds are increasing; they're not decreasing. So Steve Mnuchin says that the refunds are bouncing back. People have been very focused on tax refunds. Tax refunds are up 17% week over week. That basically gets us to the same level as last year. The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act slashed individual income and corporate tax rates, but also closed numerous tax loopholes. Closing loopholes meant lower refunds for some people. Again, about 11 people did get a tax hike, and most of those people are wealthy. The refund number might not be something to get excited about, warned Adam Michel, senior fiscal policy analyst for the Heritage Foundation. The breathless reporting when tax refunds were slightly down is just as worthless as talking about the most recent release or Mnuchin's statements, he said. The important point is to remember that 90% of Americans got a tax cut. It is likely that more Americans will also get larger refunds, but the two are not connected, and the preliminary data from the IRS should not be overinterpreted. Duh, we're not through the tax season yet. We still have a long way to go. What we should really be talking about is how destructive the tax withholding system is to Americans' perception of how much the government costs them each year. This episode highlights why we should not have a system of mandatory withholding, he says. Now, get a lot of people like the issue because it's easier. They don't have to think about it. But there are a lot of people out there who say, yeah, but the point is, if you did have to think about it, you'd be outraged and you would be much more concerned with how they're spending your money. It's one reason you find that a lot of business owners and businesses tend to care a lot more about the way government spends money than your average person, because they have to write those checks. The average person doesn't have to write those checks and therefore isn't as concerned. Jamie, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey,
what's
how are
up?
you, Casey?
How you doing, man?
Good, good. As you know, I'm a CPA,
Yes.
as well as being an attorney, and I help folks do taxes, and I've probably 41, 42 people so far this year, and I can tell you, as far as paying less, all but one of my clients paid less this year compared to what they would have paid this year under the old law.
Okay.
I did have one client that I'm helping that they are paying more. They're apparently in that 10% of the people that are going to pay more under the changes.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, they weren't happy. But when this discussion about refunds come up, whenever that discussion comes up, I point out, well, you shouldn't want a refund, because if you get a refund, that means, as I know you know, that means you've given too much money to the IRS during the year. You're making an interest-free loan to the government. Government has your money. They're going to squander it somewhere. So the ideal situation would be to just about break even or owe a very small amount.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I do know some people that kind of use this as a saving strategy, so they get that $3,000 check at the end of the year. But then when you get into situations like we've had the past couple of years where, hey, the IRS may not be sending out refunds, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about that. I've already kept my money.
Well,
yeah.
That comes down to discipline and personal responsibility. Now, if you're not making payments through your withholding, that would mean you'd have to save the money throughout the year. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people would not be disciplined enough to say that.
Yeah.
So while I understand the conceptual preference of not having withholdings, an awful lot of Americans, if they didn't have the withholdings, they wouldn't have the money to pay their bill come February, March, or April because of lack of discipline.
There you go. Yeah, that's the
some
thing.
People would be disciplined, like you, I'm sure you would. But
well, it depends on the year. Some years I'm good with it, some years I'm not.
No,
but I appreciate your faith in me, Jamie.
You're bigly disciplined. My faith in you is huge.
There you go. All right, I got to run. I'm a little bit late, but I appreciate it. All right, take care.
All right.
By the way, the average refund at this point in the filing season is up 1.3% over last year. We've got more coming up on 95.3 MNC.
Casey Hendrickson.
New Cowboy?
Yep, there's a new one coming out.
I haven't seen anything on this yet. The new Red Band trailer. It might have dropped earlier, but I'm just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any trailers for the Hellboy. I just know that they've been making it.
Do you want to see the trailer?
Not really. I'm good.
A mix of sun and clouds for today, with temperatures even warming up near 40 degrees. The best day to get outside, especially to get some errands done.
That's a quick return there, Al.
Drop down to 26. We'll see a chance for a few light snow showers, mainly for northern
What up?
counties.
You try it from home?
I was going to, and I didn't get a chance. No, I didn't forget. I didn't get a chance. No. We had somebody come into the house today, so I was doing some stuff to get ready for that. But yeah, but I will be trying it over the weekend. Yeah, absolutely.
It should be fine.
Cool. I mean, hey, we weren't able to log in the last time, and we were able to do it this time. So I have faith.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you. That's we knew, and we knew there was an issue with it. So.
Neighborhood Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
The top news stories.
Even President Trump acknowledged that a legal challenge is a certainty. And they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit.
I just got my ACA form for 2018. So, right before we went on air, I just got it. So his is So we're amending last year's Actually, we're amending the last 2 years because we had to go back and amend for the child tax credit when Harper was born. We're amending our ACA penalty for last year, and then we got to do this year. So it's a busy tax time for us.
I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any...
I think TurboTax is a ripoff. That's just my opinion. I did for a couple of years when I had an accountant do a TurboTax or an online tax system with the accountant just to kind of see which one did better. And so Tax Slayer always outperformed TurboTax, and my accountant always outperformed Tax Slayer. So I'm totally convinced you should have an accountant. It is worth the money. 100%.
3277 for a cash offer today. That's 574-621-3277.
For ease and the ability to do it yourself and cost, a lot of people do it. And if you don't have complicated taxes, it's probably totally fine to use one. I've always had complicated taxes though. So it just kind of depends on what you're doing. You know, if you've got no expenses, no write-offs, and you're just collecting a paycheck and whatnot, it's probably the best option for you. Some kind of software, not necessarily TurboTax. I've always enjoyed Tax Slayer more. They give you better customer service. But that's just my experience with them. I really enjoy TaxSlayer.com.
You can get your certificate tuition free thanks to Indiana's Next Level Jobs initiative that will cover 100% of your tuition costs. Learn more about Indiana's Workforce Ready grant at nextleveljobs.org. You're ready to make a commitment. We're ready to make an investment in you.
We're your home for the Sean Hannity
Oh, I
Show.
forgot about this video.
Weeknights 6 to 9.
Keep an eye on those live reads for me too, please.
Your great news and weather station.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. So some people are asking me about the podcasts. I did get a couple of days behind. So I don't know what happened yesterday. I had a major surge in people listening to podcasts yesterday on my Podbean account. I don't know exactly what that was about, but thank you very much. I do appreciate it. So the latest podcast that I put up today, I was wrong about transgender athletes in the Olympics. Put that up there. This is the post that Facebook got mad at me about. I put that segment up there. Those are both real short. And then I did the Momo challenge is a hoax thing. And then I blamed all of you for making it viral. So I put that up there for people who are looking for that. I had a bunch of people looking for the Momo challenge one yesterday, and I was able to get it up before the show today. So you can go get all of those on Podbean. They will be posting to the website. They do this automatically, so it's like staggered. But if you go to caseythehost.podbean.com, or you can go to my website, which links directly to it, which is theburningtruth.us. You'll be able to listen to all of those and spread it around with your friends. If you subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, it will populate those in short order. All right. I don't know why they continue to do this. Every time any kind of regulating agency or body makes a prediction about the number of storms that we are going to have, they embarrass themselves. So I don't know why they would go out on a limb and try to predict how many storms we're going to have. They did this for many years when it came to hurricanes, earthquakes. They're doing it with tornadoes. They used to do it with tornadoes, but they didn't give you specific numbers. Like they would say, we expect a slower or more activity than normal, something like that. But AccuWeather actually went out and gave us a hard concrete number of tornadoes that they think are going to happen in 2019. I don't know why you would do that, but okay. Oh, any guesses to how many tornadoes they say are going to happen in 2019?
55.
1,075. So they think there's going to be 1,075 tornadoes. By the way, everybody in this field is just jumping on this and going, how irresponsible to do this.
Tell you what we need to do, Casey. We We need to set a reminder at the end of the storm season.
Yes.
And see how far off they were.
Interesting. All right, remind me to do that. I'll have like an alert, like how many tornadoes were there this year? At the end of active tornado season, right? Because sometimes they only happen a little bit before, a little bit afterwards. So we'll do that. Popular weather vendor AccuWeather, who, by the way, I think provides a good service, took the meteorological community by storm on Tuesday. By storm? AccuWeather predicts there will be 1,075 tornadoes in 2019. Their piece begins adding that Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, and southern Nebraska have the highest risk of twisters this spring, also known as "that's every year, idiots." Okay.
Tornado Alley?
Something like that? Yeah, it's weird. Hey, all those places in Tornado Alley, yeah, that's where we're going to have the most trouble this year. Yeah, you think? Now, if you would have said like San Francisco, all right, let's have a chat about that. The 525 tornadoes expected from March through May is almost exactly the normal average of 526 from March through May, AccuWeather wrote. In other words, they are expecting one less tornado than average in the spring. Many broadcast and private sector meteorologists took issue with the bold forecast. They are simply being very unscientific. To be fair, a lot of our weather stuff is unscientific these days, but, whatever. So that's Scott Feldman. He's a meteorology graduate at Iowa State University. There's really no way to know until a few days before a severe outbreak. It misleads the public into thinking that we know more than we do so far in advance. He said it undermines trust in meteorologists. Also undermining trust in meteorologists not being able to predict the weather from day to day. But still telling you that, hey, your cow outside is killing the planet, and we can tell you what the temperature is going to be in 100 years from now. Get the weather right tomorrow, and then come see me. AccuWeather writes that we believe warmer than normal sea surface temperatures over the Gulf of Mexico will lead to increased moisture transport from the Gulf over the region, and ultimately a higher frequency of severe weather in these areas. They have said the same thing about hurricanes for many years in a row, and they have been wrong every single year. Feldman noted that warmth and moisture are among many ingredients needed to spin up a tornado, and that there is little correlation between sea surface temperature in April and May and tornado frequency in Oklahoma. So this is so AccuWeather is like, yeah, we think the sea temperature is what's going to cause this. And the meteorologists are like, yeah, there's no correlation though. Remember when they were saying that that last big hurricane that we had this last year, that was being caused by the warmer than normal oceanic temperatures? And it turns out that all of these weather experts came out and said, no, it was actually the colder than normal oceanic temperatures that caused that. It wasn't the warmer than average. So this isn't a global warming thing at all. It has to do with the, jet stream or whatever. I'm just spitting out of my backside with it. But kind of interesting how they always seem to do this stuff. Let's see. Among the leaders in the field of advanced tornado forecast is John Allen, the man with two first names, assistant professor of meteorology at Central Michigan University. He co-authored a paper in 2015 linking U.S. tornado counts to the El Nino-La Nina phase. While guidance is feasible to lead up to 5 months, the article notes substantial variability that may not be explainable. Basically, we still don't know a lot about tornadoes. Tornadoes are freaky, right? So hurricanes you can kind of see develop and see come. Tornadoes are like kind of those instant things. You don't really get to see in huge advancement what a tornado storm surge is going to kind of look like. And I know that's probably not the right terminology, but it all happens very quick and it's extremely unpredictable. I am extremely skeptical of AccuWeather's decision to include a precise number of tornadoes in their forecast, Allen wrote in the Washington Post. There is no basis for such precision, as seasonal tornado counts are extremely difficult to predict. He also names a number of factors that influence seasonal tornado tallies, including El Nino, Pacific and Atlantic sea surface temperature, and seasonal wind shifts like the Madden-Julian oscillation or the global wind oscillation. So stuff that I don't get. So basically, he's like, they're being irresponsible here. So, but hey, we're all talking about AccuWeather, and I'm sure that a bunch of people are going to hop on their app store and get the AccuWeather apps and things like that installed on their phones. And by the way, I have the AccuWeather app. I think it's fantastic. It works great. It tells me the temperature in a way that I find interesting. So I don't have an issue with the services that they provide, but it really was a bold and possibly foolish move for them to be making these types of predictions. But as Joe said, if we get to the end of the season, I guess, they were pretty darn close. Yeah, maybe we give them some credit and this becomes a new trend.
We'll eat our hat.
Joe will eat my hat. We got more coming up in just a couple of minutes. Don't forget, I like my hat. I want to eat my hat. Make sure you go and watch the live stream, youtube.com/Casey the host. Subscribe to my channel while you're there. Thumbs up on the video if you're watching, please. And you can also click on the bell icon to get notified of new uploads. And if you're on Facebook, if you prefer to watch on Facebook, no problem. Got you covered there. We're live streaming on Facebook as well. Go to facebook.com/Casey the host. We got more coming up on 95.3 MNC.
WTRC FM and HD1. Niles.
Yeah, David, I will not eat the hat with the knife in it. I will not do that. What's the total? How many Democrats we have in this thing now? 11 or 12?
That the world is in peril and the U.S. must lead the way by transforming its economy to zero emissions.
I am pledging today that if I am given this high honor, I will make fighting climate change the #1 priority of the United States of America.
So, an interesting note about this guy is saying that I will make climate change my #1 campaign priority. An interesting note about that, when you survey likely voters on issues they care about, climate change isn't even in the top 10. People don't care about it. So the media cares about it, celebrities care about it, but the average voter has a whole list of other crap they care about a lot more.
I'm a big fan of what the forecast when it comes to weather.
Is that the one that yells at you? And yeah, my wife has that. She loves it too. Makes her giggle. She's always posting screenshots of what it tells her in the morning.
Congratulations. You and everyone else is on that stance except one person. You're not unique.
Yeah.
No one's just said it because nobody cares about this.
Oh, you're gonna order one of the bill blades from me? I think I might be sold out of them right now, but I can order more. What up, homie?
You didn't win any awards yesterday.
Oh, I know. Hey. Were those the same awards as the video? I didn't even know they sent us the video. I found that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they're building awards, but you were nominated for something, self-promotion.
Nominated.
Because you do a good job.
You didn't get the banner up in time, so we didn't get self-promotion.
Yeah, I think had you had your video together for the last Pass the Mic event, if you would have had all your video in order, you would have got it.
Kathy needs you when you're done.
Wait,
I'll be
what?
right back.
Huh?
Okay.
What?
Ebler needs you. Kathy Ebler needs you when you're done. I just saw your text. I'm
Okay.
I'm right back.
All right. No sweat. Yeah. Okay.
What's your shirt say? 2006 state marching.
2016
finals.
Marching band.
What high school did you go to?
Went to Concord.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is
They're putting on
our
late.
first year in
Are they the
class.
ones putting on Les Mis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going on Sunday.
Yeah, it sounds huge. I heard a interview on Froggy, 102.7, one of our sister stations. It was a 11-minute interview.
Yeah, I know.
You plugging other stations on my damn
We
show?
played it on...
No, I'm plugging radio stations on your commercial
Yeah,
break on your webcast.
We played it on the Elkhart County Game of the Week that happens every Friday. And isn't Friday and Saturday that we have a game?
Hey, so does he really play the song Africa before every game?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I know.
Every time.
Oh, I made him mad the other night when I was filling
You didn't put it in?
Yeah, well, no, I did put it in because he told me to, so it was there. I put it in.
Play the wrong version?
No, it was the version he scheduled.
You got to play Leo's version. It's the best version ever made.
Only when it got to the line of I bless the rains down in Africa, I cut the audio, and then I opened the mic, off air, of course, but so they could hear it. I opened the mic, and then and then I said, I guess it rains down in Africa. You know, the often misheard lyric. And then Carl got, he got, oh my gosh, you just ruined the whole thing. And it's not, I guess it rains. It's I bless the rains. And I'm like, well, that's not what I'm hearing. And so then the verse came around again, and I did the exact same thing, and he's like, just knock it off. He goes, the whole broadcast is just going to be off now. I'm guessing it's his motivating song.
No, we played it before like every.
Yeah, I know. He said that. He's like,
why?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And he's not even playing the best version of the song ever made.
I think we.
Well, what's the best version of the
Leo.
song?
Leo makes the best version of it.
I haven't heard that version because it's not.
It's the heavy metal cover of it, and it's amazing.
Okay. Well, I actually like the original version, and
It's
I think
good.
it's a very good song.
It's a very good song.
Yeah.
Leo's.
I was in high school.
I
when it
don't
was out.
remember why.
I was in the marching
We
band.
do
when
it.
came out.
I'm not surprised you're in the marching band.
Why we do it?
Shut up.
Did you ever win a
What do
state
you have against
championship,
marching
though,
band? Wow.
John,
Did
did you ever
everyone
win a
just
state
hear Casey trash marching band people? Oh my gosh. You are going to get drummed out of this community.
Get off of the field. Athletes need to play.
Huh?
Did you ever win a state championship?
I'm going to tell you what, mister. As a matter of fact, when I was a junior, the summer of my junior year, going to be a senior,
They're measuring flutes, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
won a gold medal in an international competition in Honolulu, frickin' Hawaii. So there. And the next day, I got the worst sunburn of my life. I thought I was going to die. So there.
Does Joe know who Dio is?
Dio? I don't even know who Dio is.
You don't know who Dio is?
What? No, who is that?
The band Dio?
I think it's a Leo.
Well, yeah, no, Leo.
Yeah, I know.
Leo did the song.
I don't know who Dio.
Somebody's asking about Dio. I don't know.
I've never heard of Dio. Who's Dio?
The band?
Yeah, the band. Who's Dio? What do they do?
They're a band.
Well,
They're like a rock band.
A rock band? Oh, I don't know.
I won. We went to state all 4 years. Second, first, fifth.
Well, I credit you because you are a kick butt individual. So, yeah.
Hawk Knives, yes. DSK, I think. Kudrow, I don't know. Coy, yes. Daryl Carlson, no.
Knives are dangerous.
Ha! Point! Lots of puns today. Lots of them.
No, yeah, they're pretty good.
Well, don't be too funny. You're no Mark McGill.
Thank you for the compliment. Appreciate that.
Wow.
So somebody sent a text the other day.
Is this like one of those?
No, it's a knife. You can pull it out. You can pull it out. So listen, there's a no. It's a paracord. It's a lanyard thing. So okay, so see the little plastic hole?
Oh, I see.
Okay, just pop it out of that.
Oh, wow.
Holy wow.
I can get a seatbelt cutter right now. I just got an email earlier that they're doing seatbelt cutter sales from one of my suppliers.
Oh, really?
A neck knife seatbelt cutter.
You want to do, gonna put a window shutter on it too?
No, it's just a cutter. It just goes around your neck so you can get out of your vehicle.
It'd be easy to get out of the vehicle so you can shut it.
I can go download Measure twice.
You should do that. It's waiting for you.
I know. I saw it in the file. Part 2. It's part 2.
Yeah, you're playing part 2 today, and then
No, part 2 tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah, and then I will have next week's uploaded over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna test the new,
Thingy? All right. Well,
yeah.
be prepared for it not to work. I'm just telling you. 'Cause that's something.
We did the test and it worked this time. It didn't work the last time, so I'm hopeful.
Did you get a haircut? Oh, wow. I'm gonna get a haircut again this weekend because I kind of feel like
John's high on Mountain Dew. He's talkative and friendly.
Adios.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right, so if you are looking to buy some guns, some knives, some archery equipment, camping equipment, trapping equipment, fishing gear, whatever, to get ready for the spring, you can go to the Guns and Everything Outdoor Show, which is happening tomorrow and Sunday at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. Starts at 9 a.m., both days, Eastern Time. And 12 and under get in free. $5 for everybody else to get in the door. There are door prizes and a bunch of cool stuff. So hopefully you'll go out there. I will be out there at the Second Amendment Arms booth about 10 o'clock. Okay. So if you want to swing by the booth tomorrow about 10 o'clock, I don't know how long I'm going to be there. All right. It all depends on kind of how the day develops and
My wife has asked that I not be away for too long. So we have a lot of stuff to obviously take care of. And then I have some orders that I have to get out as well. But look forward to seeing you out there. For more details, go to secondamendmentarms.net. All right, here we go. So remember me telling you that Pete Buttigieg is getting his own town hall on CNN? So they're going to do 3 town halls, and Pete Buttigieg is getting the 9 p.m. slot. Of course, we got more people jumping in the race today with the Democrats. I think we're up to like 11 or 12 Democrats that are running right now. So Pete Buttigieg is going to get his own town hall on CNN. However, CNN just got busted with one of their town halls. So they did the town hall with Bernie Sanders. A lot of people were anticipating that. Bernie Sanders is considered a front runner early on. So you would expect that Bernie Sanders got a town hall. Well, CNN is now saying, all right, we'll do town halls for pretty much everybody. So CNN on Wednesday this week admitted that it failed to disclose the Democratic Party ties of audience members who asked questions during its recent Senator Bernie Sanders town hall. Oh, my. CNN failed to disclose the political connections of audience members who questioned 2020 presidential hopeful Senator Bernie Sanders. They say independent from Vermont, but that's a lie. During his town hall on the network on February 25th, per report from Paste Magazine. Have you ever heard of Paste Magazine? Me either. Leftist outlet found that CNN described Baltimore County Democratic Party Chair Tara Ebersol as a former biology professor, Charles County Democratic Central Committee Chair Abina McAllister as an active Democrat, a public policy intern at D.C. Cassidy and Associates, a large lobbying firm for the Democratic Party, as an American University student, and an intern at the Katz Watson Group fundraising and consulting firm as a George Washington student. Hey, facts first, CNN. This is why people don't trust you. This is why. You're not supposed to be doing these things without letting the audience, your television audience, know what's going on. So from the New York Post, Young Jung Sao was introduced as a college student, but neither host Wolf Blitzer nor the on-screen Chiron mentioned that she is an intern at Democratic fundraising outfit Katz Watson Group, according to her LinkedIn page, which apparently people check LinkedIn. So there's that. I don't even know what my LinkedIn says about me. I should probably just delete that thing. I keep getting requests for people to add me on their LinkedIn, and I really don't want to add you. It's not that I have anything personal against you. It's just that I still don't understand why the platform is around. Shadi Nassam was also presented as a college student, even though her LinkedIn page says that she is an intern at DC lobbying firm Cassidy and Associates. And of course, people are pointing out this is information that CNN is supposed to disclose, right? You're supposed to disclose this stuff. A CNN spokesperson responded to Mediaite with a statement, though we said at the beginning of the town hall that the audience was made up of Democrats and independents, we should have more fully identified any political affiliations. Okay, when you say that the audience is made up of Democrats and independents, people assume you're talking about registered Democrats. They don't assume you're talking about leadership in the Democratic Party. Okay, and a lot of these people, not just the interns and people who work for lobbying groups, but a lot of these people are bigwigs in their party. You've got the Baltimore County Democratic Party chair, okay, honcho for the party as a former biology professor. Then you have a Charles County Democratic Central Committee chair. Okay, these are influential and powerful people within the party, and they're not being disclosed to anybody. So it kind of makes you wonder how many people will be disclosed in the not Bernie Sanders, but in the Pete Buttigieg, Freudian slip, they're basically the same person, the Pete Buttigieg town hall that is coming up. Be interesting if they actually, since they got caught, if they actually disclose it going forward. I would assume that they would. Obviously, people on social media have piled onto this because CNN has now admitted that they did not properly tell their viewers that members of the audience were made up of actual party personnel, not just registered Democrats and people who are interested in the Democratic primary, which, of course, was always going to be one of the things that would steer people. You know, you don't care what the leadership says, right? The Republican Party leadership is one of the reasons that so many people are leaving the Republican Party in many states. And then, of course, the Democratic Party leadership, same thing in many states. Every state operates a little differently. Some states operate really well. Some states operate not so well. Sometimes the state is bad, but county parties are really good. So it just kind of depends. But if you're going to have this on the national stage as CNN, and you're going to have, bigwigs within the party asking questions, just tell everybody who they are instead of pretending that they're not party bigwigs by calling them former biology professor. No, they're the chair of the party, okay? They're the chair of the party. You had better disclose that. So naturally, people are piling on. Remember, CNN, they say that they're facts first. That's their line, okay? Not my line, their line, facts first. And they can't understand why people don't trust them, and yet here they are, once again, doing things that people will not trust them for. So Stephen Miller, better known as Red Steez on Twitter, he says, will this be in your media newsletter, Brian Stelter? Seems newsy and about the media. Of course, Brian Stelter never criticizes CNN in his newsletter. See, the DNC has sought and received assurances from CNN that Sarah Isgur will not be involved in the debates, that the channel hosts and moderates for the Democratic primary, yada, yada, the Daily Beast. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. So CNN got busted once again, misleading their audience. Again, no big surprise, no big shock. It's just another thing that we can build up with the evidence against them. Also want to remind everybody, since we did talk about tornadoes here recently, the 95.3 MNC weather text alerts are new and improved. They're customized and faster than ever. To stay connected, text the word weather to 45364. The cool thing about the new service is you can pick the counties that you care about, not the entire listening area. And of course, the moment a severe weather alert is issued, you will get that notification because minutes matter. So again, text the word weather right now to 45364, and message and data rates do apply. We've got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Weather Watch 24 hours a day.
On air and on your smartphone with weather text alerts. Sign up at 253snc.com. Your breaking news and weather station.
Any live reads in there?
Do Z-Bar or Corhorn?
Okay. Z-Bar or Corhorn.
The next one you need to do the other.
The other, okay, gotcha.
So you have to do both.
Okay.
Corhorn scheduled for this one.
Okay, let's do that then.
Temperatures even warming up near 40 degrees. The best day to get outside, especially to get something done. For tonight, temperatures drop down to 26. We'll see a chance for a few light snow showers, mainly for northern counties, and that will linger into early Saturday morning. Temperatures topping out near 34 degrees for Saturday with mostly cloudy skies. On Sunday, those snow showers look a little bit more likely.
Maybe.
During the evening hours, still only expecting one.
So Pete Buttigieg wrote a paper on Bernie Sanders when he was younger and really likes the guy. Didn't back him because he wasn't supposed to back him in the last presidential election, but when Pete Buttigieg talks, he sounds like Bernie Sanders. Sounds just like him. The policies are basically exactly the same. So I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised at all. I have not checked out Gab's dissenter tool. No. I did not hear that Borderlands 3 was confirmed, but stoked.
Nice.
Now, I have the Handsome collection, and I was playing through it, and then I think I got halfway through it, and I haven't finished it yet. So I have to go through and finish it, because I love Borderlands. I love that game. You got it? How does it look, Susie? Is it okay? Hopefully it's all right.
Stunning entry systems, detailed siding, all with the goal of improving energy savings and quality of life for homes like yours. Buy 6 windows, get 3 free, and no payments for 12 months.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Miller with Good for a fair price. Call me at 574-621-3.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days.
I shall look.
In any condition, any price range, and in any location. I
am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. Call me at 574-621-3277.
Do what with the what? What? To what?
I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind them payment houses. I even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses.
Deciphered.
Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy
Word.
houses, abandoned houses, condemned
Oh my God, the internet is so slow on this computer. I can't even open a friggin' message on Facebook.
Or a cash offer today. That's 574-621-3277.
The average smoker tries to quit up to 30 times, and many are looking for an alternative. Juul was designed by smokers for smokers
Here we go.
to be a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Juul is a vapor product that contains nicotine for a satisfying transition.
Swizzo Dizzo. Looks like it works. Cool.
Know that there is an alternative.
Awesome sauce.
Make the switch at Juul.com. That's JUUL.com.
Nope.
Not a stabby thing.
It is not a stabby thing. It's a 3D printed thing.
Oh, what was 3D printed?
It was a thing for a cry cut system. Holds her accessories. No taste test today.
Stuff's hard to find.
I have those MREs in there. I just gotta go through them. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. You know, we talked about taxes a little bit earlier. So the average tax return is up 1.3% right now over last year. Of course, we're not nearly done with tax season. And you know, we kind of talked about how some people were, you know, confused about why their returns looked the way that they did from last year. Remember, we had a whole tax overhaul. It's the biggest overhaul that we have had in decades, and it's very confusing. And a lot of people, you know, will not need to go through the tedious tasks of their write-offs anymore because the individual deductions have been changed. So sometimes it's going to be a lot easier for many of you, but you need an expert to be able to guide you through all of that and make sure that you don't make any mistakes with the new system. Perfect example. Right before the show today, I got my tax information for my insurance because I opt out of the insurance, but the individual mandate is still in place for the 2018 tax season, which we're filing our taxes for right now. So there are ways of not having to pay that penalty. But if you have a tax professional guiding you through how to do that appropriately, then you won't have to worry about the IRS coming after you at some point in the future for that or paying something that you weren't required to pay. So again, get a professional at Corehorn Financial Group. They'll be able to guide you through all of this. They'll also be able to set you up with a plan to go ahead and plan out your tax withholdings, the next opportunity that you get to go ahead and do that. Sometimes your employer lets you do that throughout the year. Sometimes they don't. And that way you can adjust your taxes. So if you want a big lump sum check at the end of the year, you can get it. If you want to keep the most amount of money that you can in each paycheck, you can do that as well. But they will be there with Corehorn Financial Group to guide you through that process. Go to Corehorn.com. That's KORHORN.com. Let them know that I sent you. All right. What else do we have here? Lots of house cleaning on Fridays. I think most of you know I do a lot of house cleaning on Fridays, stuff that I wasn't able to get to. I like to make sure that I get to it. Yes. This was a doozer. So a lot of my show prep got buried with some other stuff that I was doing for other shows today. So I was looking for stuff. So Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan have referred Michael Cohen for criminal prosecution for perjury. We caught the guy. Now, I brought up one of the lies from the first half of his testimony on the first day because we did the story and they were still at recess, and then they came back in. I hadn't heard what they were saying because they were doing it during the show. The guy got busted lying so many times during his testimony that naturally he's been no, keep in mind, he's been convicted. Okay, he's facing 3 years. He's been convicted of lying to Congress already, and then Congress invites him back, and then he lies to them again. This guy is not the brightest. I think Trump said that he was a dummy at some point in time, called him an idiot or something like that. Yeah, this doesn't look good. All right, Trump family unloaded on Michael Cohen after he claimed under oath that he never wanted a White House job. Of course, we know that is not true. Multiple media outlets and journalists have come forward and said, no, he absolutely
was trying to get a White House job. If that's not enough, Cohen, in his own words, said that he wanted a White House job. They have an interview with him on CNN admitting that he wanted a White House job. Keep in mind, this is sworn testimony. Now, what I find funny about this is that there are liberals out there going, oh, so what? He lied about not wanting a job in the White House. That's not a big deal. Neither is what Michael Flynn did. Neither is what General Petraeus did. Neither is what a lot of the people that Mueller is prosecuting for lying to the FBI. None of that stuff was material either. Okay? Roger Stone's being accused of lying to the FBI for something that's not material. So the FBI and the left are absolutely thrilled with the FBI perjury trap when it nabs a Trump administration official or somebody from the Trump inner circle. And then here you've got a guy right there under oath talking to Congress, testifying before Congress, and he lied to him. Okay, it doesn't matter how little the lie was, how big the lie was, how relevant it was. The fact of the matter is he lied under oath. So anyway, now it looks like this is twitchy. Anyway, now it looks like Cohen might have some new problems to deal with. Rudy Giuliani, the president's attorney, is calling on House Oversight Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings to refer Cohen to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. And Republican Representatives Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan are also calling on the DOJ to investigate Cohen. So today, Congressman Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio, ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, and Congressman Mark Meadows, Republican of North Carolina, sent a letter to Attorney General William Barr referring Michael Cohen to the U.S. Department of Justice for perjury and knowingly making false statements before the committee at yesterday's hearing. While testifying under oath, Mr. Cohen made what appear to be numerous willfully and intentionally false statements of material fact contradicted by the record established by the Justice Department in United States versus Cohen. There are other instances in which Mr. Cohen's statements to the committee were immediately contradicted by witnesses with firsthand knowledge of the subject matter. In sum, Mr. Cohen's testimony before the Committee on Oversight and Reform on February 27th of 2019 was a spectacular and brazen attempt to knowing and willfully testify falsely and fictitiously to numerous material facts. His testimony included intentionally false statements designed to make himself look better on a national stage. Mr. Cohen's prior conviction for lying to Congress merits a heightened suspicion that he has yet again testified falsely before Congress. Yowza. So we'll see what happens with it. Usually I would say, none's going to come of this, but this is a guy that has already been convicted of lying to Congress, and we have him in his own words contradicting statements that he made during testimony this week. And like I said, if you go back, you not only have witnesses, okay, you have witnesses that can come forward and say Cohen's lying, and that's one thing. When you have Cohen in his own words giving interviews to various news outlets saying the exact opposite of what he testified to earlier this week, that's not good. And it's hard to hide from that because, again, we have his own words to use against him. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. What do we have? No, I'm not going to talk about the Jennifer Lawrence thing just yet, in a little bit. All right, let's talk about the music industry. Joe and I were talking about that during a commercial break here. What's that? Okay, so so the U.S. music industry has, for years, I've been telling you how piracy doesn't hurt the music industry. The research is that it actually promotes it. So think of it this way. So you had many years where pirating music was a big deal. And I'm not advocating pirating music. I'm just letting you know that it wasn't doing the damage that the record labels and some of the musical artists were saying it was doing. Okay. What we ended up seeing is that as pirated music was happening, artists were making more money than they ever were. Record labels were making more money than they ever were. And the music industry was very healthy, in spite of the fact that they're pumping out garbage music right now. So there really wasn't a correlation with what they were saying. They were trying to say that they would have been better off if people weren't pirating the music. But we also saw an increase in concert attendance. So a lot of people became fans of music because they had free access to that music that they would not have had access to before, because as we know, the rotations on music stations is very small. So there's an argument that pirating actually acted like free radio and getting people interested in this stuff, and they bought more merchandise and that sort of thing. I'm not saying that's definitive. I'm just saying there was a lot of research that seemed to trend that way, and obviously there's counter research to that. Just giving you a primer on the past. I'm not advocating pirating music. I would never do that. The U.S. music industry posts its third straight year of double-digit growth as streaming soars 30%. That's where most of us, I think, are getting our music now. We're streaming it. The U.S. music industry posted its third consecutive year of double-digit growth, according to the RIAA's year-end revenue report, which was issued this week. And the report notes that in 2018, U.S. recorded music revenues rose 12% to their highest level in 10 years, $9.8 billion. That is up from $8.8 billion the previous year, but still below 2007's $10.7 billion. I would argue that the music in 2007 was a lot better than what we're seeing right now, too. This was largely due to the boost in paid music subscriptions, which rose 42% to 50.2 million from 35.3 million the previous year. I actually decided to get my Spotify Premium this year. And the reason I did that is because my podcast is hosted there. So you can get my podcast on Spotify. So I got some perks for being able to go ahead and upgrade Premium, and that allowed me to get some stuff done for my branding and that sort of thing behind the scenes. While streaming revenues soared 30% to $7.4 billion from $5.7 billion in 2017 and $2.3 billion in 2015. So we're in 2019 right now, and obviously this is data for 2018, okay? In 3 years, streaming revenue went from $2.3 billion to $7.4 billion in 3 years. Wow. Total subscription revenues increased 32% to $5.4 billion, according to the report, and that includes $747 million in revenues from limited tier paid subscriptions, which were not full subscriptions. Okay, these are subscriptions with limitations. Now, what I also found interesting, and some people we were talking about this before the show today, so people on the live stream kind of echoed this. U.S. music fans are putting more money in vinyl and CDs than iTunes downloads. Interesting. Going back to physical media, I was just considering getting a new radio receiver for my car because the factory one doesn't work in my car, and the cheap ones don't have a disc player. They just have, you can connect to your thing, and I was like, it's no big deal. Nobody's using discs anymore. My wife just made me throw away a bunch of CDs. And now everybody's going back to CDs. I almost fought her on it, to be perfectly honest with you. When I'm in moving mode, I'm kind of a scorched earth guy. I don't like taking anything with me. I'd rather burn everything and not take anything. That's kind of where I'm at. So she was able to win me over. She knew that, but I did keep some of my prized CDs, but I just got rid of CDs I hadn't listened to in a long time. It's okay. I'll just pirate them later. We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Not that I would ever advocate that. MNC News Time is 4:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather.
That was good. That was good. Breaking that down. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You bet.
I realized today that was the one that I didn't have, so.
I texted you actually too. I just texted the dates.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Yep, just did Gorhorn.
Sweet.
And I'll be doing Z-Bar, so is it 11 o'clock on Monday? 11?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Lunch.
Monterey?
Yep.
Who's meeting there?
Yeah, if you want. Tim and I'll probably head out. He has a meeting right after that, so we'll probably drive separate. But if you want to ride with me from the station, it'll be good.
Doesn't matter to me, man.
John's going to meet us there.
Don't mean me no never, man.
Mark's going to meet us there because he has a lunch meeting in South Bend. So.
Okay. I don't want to ride with Mark anyway. Have you seen the station vehicle after he drives it? I've only seen one vehicle worse, and that's the B100 vehicle. That's it. Joe knows.
I've never been in there.
The B100 vehicle's dirtiness is legendary. It is epic and legendary, man. Looks great on the outside. It's Is the tint dark enough in the B100 vehicle that people can't see in it?
I've never been close enough to tell. So.
Talk about needing germ defender. Holy smokes. Damn.
Well, hey, now we got to segue into it.
Yeah. We're just talking about dirty vehicles. Yep, totally.
We're just talking about cleaning vehicles.
Coincidentally, your library.
Also, and John just recently hurt his back cleaning his car.
That's true. He did. We were just talking about it. He did. He hurt his. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, he went to one of those self vacuum things and hurt his back. And we're like, we have a sponsor that does that.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah, it is.
It's really nice. It's like, so I picked up, back when Tracy was taking care of Z-Bar, I picked up the Cruiser. I drove it there one time, and I dropped it off, and it was a hot mess. And I picked it up, and it was literally like a totally different vehicle.
Dude, they threw so much trash away the first time they did it, and my wife had cleaned it out first. Like, with 2 kids, and oh my God, there's stuff that we didn't even know was in there.
Yeah, I found my card that I had lost under my seat one time.
Did you?
Oh, hey, here's where it was.
I've done that. I've found a credit card under there before that I had already canceled and got a replacement for.
Yeah, I've had a new card about 3 months, and then I got that number stolen, so I canceled that.
And did they like try to pull stains out of the fabric or anything like that? I don't know.
They made the Sequoia look brand new.
Really?
Yeah, it looked like we just got it at a dealership.
So this is what I hear from the backseat of my son's like, oh, they shorted me a meatball in my Subway sub, and then he gets out of the car, and for the entire trip, I never let them eat. We were just in a crazy hurry. The very first meatball in his sandwich had fallen next to him and was like, hot and covered in marinara or whatever. And it just sat there for like 45 minutes as we were driving somewhere. And he notices it as he stands up, and I was like, oh man, if the seats of this thing weren't already stained, that's a hot mess, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. No, because we got the Sequoia from a friend who's got like
a 12-year-old eating one of the back.
Yeah, friend's got 3 teenagers. They're all involved in extracurricular activities. They're constantly moving. And so, it looked like a well-used vehicle.
Yeah.
And, she's like, I really want this taken care of. So she was driving around. She was getting irritated about it. And so I was like, fine, I'll take it over there. And so I took it to John. I'm like, my wife wants this taken care of. I didn't tell her about it. And it looked brand new. It looked like we just got it at the dealership. It looked amazing. They did the headlight buff and everything on it.
Yeah, they do amazing work over this.
Yeah.
It's really
it was really, really nice. She was extremely happy. So then it became like every 6 months I had to do something with it. So
when my daughter was really little, I remember she was going to Grandma's house. We pulled the car seat out of the car in order to put it in Grandma's car, and we uncovered the
mess, stash,
the mess of like crumbs and things that her seat was actively grinding into the seat of that car. And I stood there for like 10 minutes shaking that seat out in the driveway, shaking all these old French fries, Cheerios, like things that had just fallen into the cracks inside of it. But all that stuff that was underneath there, it was grinding itself into the fabric of the seat. I would have never even thought about that.
Yeah.
At all.
Yep.
Never.
My wife has already told me when we get into the new place, she wants the mats for the seats that go underneath the car seat. She wants them. It's going to catch everything, And I'm like, all right, we'll get them. Just let's get moved first, please. So.
8 projects at a time.
Dude, tell me about it. Oh my God. I'm like in the middle of a move, and I've got 20 holsters to get out. I've got some knife shipments to get out, and a corrections department that manages like 100 prisons is looking at. So it's all going to hit like in the middle of like the first thing I have to set up is my Kydex shop at the new house, like before I do anything else. Now the couch can stay in the truck. I need to do this now.
Well, I'll text you when I'm upset.
All right, brother.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Casey Hendrickson.
I didn't hear what the last bumper was, but it could be Cell from The Servant.
Oh.
Did you turn my microphone on? Yeah, you did turn my microphone on.
I was talking to the live stream. I was 574-25-95-95-3. Thank God I didn't cuss there, Joe. Jeez. Joe just like turned on my microphone. He thought I was trying to talk to the audience. And I was talking to the live stream. Somebody asked me what the bumper music was. And I didn't pay attention to it. I apologize. I had some people in here I was talking to, but Cells by The Servant is probably what you're referring to. So, all right. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 259595. You almost got us both fired. I mean, you realize how much I cuss, right? Like I have a very profane mouth. That would have been very, very bad.
There's a dumb button.
As long as you're on top of it, we should be okay. All right. Do want to remind you that the Guns and Everything Outdoor Show, New Carlisle Crown Event Center. That is tomorrow. Starts at 9 a.m. Goes until 5 on Sunday. Starts at 9. Goes until 3. $5 to get in. Everything for hunting, camping, trapping, fishing, archery. All of that stuff is going to be there. I will be out there at the Second Amendment Arms booth at about 10 o'clock or so. So hopefully you'll come on out and say hello. Look forward to seeing you guys and gals. And again, go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. Okay. What do we have here? Scared Straight. All right. So Scared Straight, I think everybody knows what Scared Straight is, right? I mean, we've seen it. Bad kids. Let's pretend we're going to throw them in prison. Let's have some prison guards, not prison guards, but prisoners, intimidate them and then talk to them and that sort of thing. Kids break down, they cry. It used to be a reality television thing all the time, like the daytime talk shows and stuff used to do this a lot. I don't know if they still do, because a lot of people are saying that this is child abuse now. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Do you think the Scared Straight program helps troubled kids, or do you think it is child abuse? So this is an article in the Charlotte Observer, which, by the way, is a very good newspaper. Okay, they do a really good job. They're one of the better papers in the country. Sheriff's deputies pushed them against jail yard fences and shoved them to the ground. I don't see a problem yet. They yelled, they cursed within inches of their faces. They forced them to run for long periods, ignoring pleas for breaks until some vomited. Okay, I'm still not seeing a problem here. Receiving this treatment, kids and teens. One was 8 years old. Wow, if you're 8 years old and you're going to a Scared Straight program, you are definitely on the wrong path. None of the children were in custody for breaking the law, but their unruly behavior had troubled parents, and they asked deputies to teach them a tough lesson. Okay. Now, I think there's a big difference between the Scared Straight program and a parent just saying, oh, see that cop over there? You better clean your room or they're going to take you to jail. I don't approve of that stuff. But the Scared Straight program, we're talking about people who are already on a very bad path. We're talking about kids that are already doing things that are highly illegal, very damaging, and they are continuing down that path, and the parents cannot get control. Since its inception in 2013, hundreds of boys and girls have been sent to Project Storm, a jail program in Chester County, South Carolina, that is designed to scare at-risk kids into better behavior. The Herald was given permission to observe Project Storm, short for Showing Teens Our Real Mission, in June 2018 and in January. The Herald and Charlotte Observer then shared video of interactions between deputies and children with 6 experts. All 6 criticized the program. 5 called the treatment child abuse. It is physical abuse, said Kenneth Dodge, a child psychologist who formerly headed Duke University's Center for Child and Family Policy. This tactic would be called torture if the prisoner were a member of the Taliban. Interesting. Torture. Taliban torture is what they're calling it. Okay. I think that guy's probably a little nuts, but what do you think? 574-25-95-95. We got a pair of Alexes, so if I say your name and you don't hear me actually talking to you and the sound difference, stay on hold. We'll get your call the next call. Alex, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet.
So I worked in jail for about 8 years, and I've seen the opposite effect happen with these kids who go through the Scared Straight program. They're coming into the jail, and we're putting these inmates who are some scary guys, tough guys, in front of them, yelling at them, screaming at them, and basically what it's doing is challenging them to see if they can be as tough as that guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're coming in, and we're trying to scare them from coming to jail, but what we're doing is challenging them, thinking, okay, can you be as tough as this guy? And a lot of the kids are stepping up. I see more kids coming back. I see more kids coming back to the jail who went through the Scare Straight program than I did those that, stayed away from the criminal justice system.
Interesting. Now, is that because you didn't let the inmates actually shank the kids?
That could be a big part of it.
I'm just saying, if the kid knows that there is a safety buffer, maybe, because this was always a question that I had when I watched this on the daytime talk shows, like, what happens if the kid just like, okay, whatever. And the inmate just backs off, is like, what do I do? Punch him?
That's all an act. They all know what they can and cannot do. Most of the guys that are doing the Scare Straight program are doing it for some kind of reward, whether it be to let the courts know, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to help these kids. Mm-hmm. They know they have more on the line. It's those guys that you see on TV are not the ones that have nothing to lose. Those guys have more things to lose than what your common inmate would. So those guys are acting. They're beefing it up. If a kid hauls off and hit them, I bet you anything that those inmates aren't going to do anything, because they know that this is on TV for one. Two, They're probably trying to get modified, get their sentence reduced for some reason. So they're doing this for their benefit, not so much to help the kids. What they really need to focus their time in is mentoring these young kids, having those inmates take those kids under their wings during that time period and say, hey, look, this is why you don't want to do what I'm doing, because this is what I've lost. Not trying to say, hey, can you be as tough as I am?
Well, that makes sense. Now, if the program doesn't work, the program doesn't work. What are your thoughts on the accusation that programs like this might be considered child abuse?
I can't see how it could be child abuse. I mean, you're scaring the kids. Yeah, I get that. Some people may say, well, the mental effects of it could be detrimental to their mental well-being, I guess. But to say that as child abuse, I mean, I doubt it. I mean, you can't even spank your kids anymore without it being considered child abuse.
Sure.
Everything, if you look at your kids the wrong way and make them feel unhappy, that I'm sure could be considered child abuse. Child abuse nowadays has gone so far left that you can't even discipline your kids without being questionable. Why'd you do this?
Exactly.
It's my damn kid. That's why I did it.
There you go. Hey, Alex, I appreciate the insight, man. Thank you much.
Yep. Bye.
All right. You take care. And, I go back to, well, first of all, we have child psychologists and experts and things like, air quote, experts. Some of them are famous TV personalities that go, no, yelling at your kid, raising your voice at your kid or spanking your kid, that's child abuse, and it mentally damages them forever. Weird how that worked for like thousands of years, and only miraculously until recently it doesn't work and causes serious harm. So it's kind of interesting how that happens. But I go back to the dad before I take a little break and then take more phone calls on this. I go back to that dad who had his kid filling and digging holes in his yard. Remember that guy? He woke his kid up early in the day because his kid's grades weren't very good. Woke him up early in the day and said, all right, you're going to go ahead and dig holes and fill them back in. Okay, this is an old military discipline thing. So the kid would dig holes in the heat. Dad made sure he was hydrated. And then when he dig the hole, he would fill it back in. He'd dig another hole. Okay, the dad had him doing that. The police showed up, arrested the dad for child abuse. And the police chief of the department was screaming at the news cameras that this was abusive behavior and would not be tolerated in his precinct and all of this other stuff. All he had his kid doing was exercising. That's it. And that was child abuse because he had his kid exercising. So I'm not surprised to see people say this, but at the same time, do you agree that these Scared Straight programs are child abuse? We'll take more of your phone calls coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news
Do Z-Bart when this comes out.
Zebra. Can you still buy blank tape? You talking like cassette tape? Yep, you sure can. In fact, true story, one of the most profitable online sales products is blank cassette tapes. I read this about a year ago on one of my sales blogs, and they were saying people were making a killing with the old Maxwell tapes. So, go figure. Apparently, there's still a bunch of them left that are unused, and a lot of people use them for stuff. I haven't seen a cassette player or recorder in a long time, but they make you some dough.
Inches of snow for most of the area. We're going to see then lake effect kick into gear for Monday and Tuesday, with those temperatures dropping down into the
reel to reel. Gotcha.
Bitter cold blasts there will last until about midweek. KC 7 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Yep. Nope, they clickety you. Clickety 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 clickety.
Text news to 45360 from the station that keeps you moving on air, online, and on your cell. From News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Are you overpaying Uncle Sam? Will you pay more taxes than necessary when you retire? Surveys show that most American adults get an F in understanding income tax basics. And while investors are concerned about rising taxes, most aren't doing anything about it. This is Casey Weed, certified financial planner practitioner. When I got my start as a financial advisor, I was really just a trained salesperson. But I soon realized there aren't many guarantees in the financial world, and selling another financial product added little value to my client's bottom line. The only guarantees you're going to get in life are death and taxes. So why not start?
Great. I got all the people who are working on my house purchase watching my live stream right now. Cassettes are still your favorite? Why?
So call today at 866-482-9559. Start planning before it's too late. 866-482-9559.
Somebody had 3D printed a vinyl record some time ago. And I don't remember if it worked or not, but I remember being really intrigued by it.
Hello, I'm Les Anderson. I'm assigned to the Times. We're a full-service sign company. We've been in business now
Phone call.
14 years. We have 2 stores located in
Kazoo.
A lot of the services we offer, the vehicle wraps.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
That our business has grown, and when we
Are
give
you
you
calling about the
something,
Scared Straight program?
when you see it on your vehicle, it stands
All
out.
right,
It's
I'll
not
try to get you
just,
one.
here's a vehicle wrap. It's a notch above. When you walk into our door, when you engage with anybody on our staff, realize that you're dealing with true professionals, and they absolutely love what they do.
It's rolling. He ain't going to hang on. He never hangs on. He always hangs up on me. If he's not the first call, he always hangs up on me.
$25 t-shirt to feel like you're a $10,000 customer. It doesn't really matter. I honestly believe one of the most important things in business is taking care of people, period. And that their job, no matter how big or small, is important to us.
From wraps to signs,
Display your brand with signs in the Times.
It would be considered torture if it were a member of the Taliban. That's freaking funny. I think we should be able to waterboard children, but, you know, freedom baptisms. You want to get a kid to clean their room? Want to get baptized, boy? Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. Holy smokes, we're 9 minutes away from open lines. That quick? Jeez. Show's flying. So in just a few minutes, you can call about any topic you want, and we'll take those phone calls in the order that we get them. So we're talking about a Scared Straight program. This one in particular is in South Carolina, but has brought up the discussion in general about Scared Straight programs that some child psychologists say this is child abuse. The sheriff who created the program says it's not abusive, and in a recent interview with the Herald and the Charlotte Observer, he acknowledged that his deputies can be pretty tough, that he contended it's what it takes to deter some youths from crimes that will lead to something far worse, which is prison. So the sheriff, who, if I'm not mistaken, the sheriff does arrest people for actual child abuse, right? So maybe the sheriff has a handle on what is and is not child abuse. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. Alex, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Casey.
What's up?
So yeah, I don't think that this is child abuse in any shape, form, or way.
Mm-hmm.
I think if just like if we deal with people who do drugs, you put them together with people who are recovering drug addicts, and they seem to get better on their own, such as programs like AA and NA. So that being said, you stick a bunch of criminal kids in with a bunch of criminals who are trying to reform their life, they potentially get better, and, that's the way it goes. I always thought that you actually had to hit somebody to do assault or abuse, but apparently this is the generation we live in.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, the previous caller who used to work for prisons, I mean, he was saying that I would prefer them do more of a mentor thing, like kind of what you're talking about, because he didn't see the scared part actually work out here. But, every program is conducted a little bit differently. And I think the one in South Carolina is getting such flack because the deputies do put hands on the kids. They don't punch them or anything like that, but, they'll put hands on them, which is far different than you can't touch me, and I know you can't touch me, and so I'm not going to pay attention to what you're saying to me. So,
well, and I mean, that just comes down to putting, I guess the fear of God into them. Because without that tactic, then you're not going anywhere because they know that safety net is there.
There you go. So, all right, man. Hey, I appreciate the call. Thank you for being so patient.
Yep.
All right. Take care. Can you beanbag some of these kids? Shoot them with those beanbag shotguns and whatnot. Those handguns they got now too. Boom, and then the kid can learn. I'm just asking questions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to make sure that they don't go down the wrong path. Roland, welcome to the program.
How did he know my name? He didn't even ask for it.
We have spy software.
You know what? I like the programs, and I'll tell you why. My son, my middle son, actually used my credit card to buy some game that I wouldn't buy for him. And I took him down to juvenile, and I knew one of the referees in Detroit. And I said, can you put him in the holding cell? I want him to see what it's like. And he said, well, I can't do that because of liability, but we can have him go watch. My son just saw some guys in the holding cell and just saw how they were walking around like caged animals.
Mm-hmm.
I said, is that where you want to be? No, Dad, no.
That was it, huh?
I still made him go to boot camp.
I still sent him there anyway. So
he's never stolen anything else that I know of.
Oh, so his behavior has improved. So for him, it worked.
Yeah, and I think the earlier you get them, the better, because they're still scared. Once they're hardened, then it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah,
you got to get them. Like with my son, it was the first time he did something like that. I said, nip it in the bud.
Yeah, so the 8-year-old in this program that they're talking about here probably has the best chance of getting some kind of a reform out of the program, because again, the older kids, they're getting to that point where they're going to start doing male dominance challenging anyway. And they're going to know psychologically they can't punch me, they can't hurt me, they can't, kill me or anything like that. So I'm just going to push this.
Absolutely.
There you go.
All right. Good show as usual, my brother.
I appreciate you, man.
I told you I'll be a prop for you if you need me to show up at any of your personal appearances. So.
All right, man. Thank you so much. All right. You take care. Prop. That's funny. Referring to the situation with the Cohen hearing. Geez. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. So some studies, this is the Charlotte Observer again, some studies have concluded that such programs, these scare straight programs, may actually increase juvenile crime. That's kind of what the first caller was talking about. The U.S. Department of Justice does not support the programs. Criminal justice researcher Anthony Petrosini has analyzed numerous studies about scared straight programs and said the evidence is that it could be far more harmful than good. Melissa Sickmund, director of the National Center for Juvenile Justice, agreed with that. If this was medicine, the FDA would say you're not allowed to put this on your shelf in the pharmacy. Interesting. So, and again, this program, this Project Storm that they do in South Carolina, I think it is designed to be a little bit different because there can be hands-on versus just lining them up and having people yell at them and that sort of thing. But, perhaps that's the reason that they think this program is effective. I don't have any numbers on this particular program. And really, it's not a discussion of whether or not Scared Straight works. I think Roland made a very good point that young kids, first time this happens, you could probably have a bigger impact than when they're older and they've already developed that hard exterior shell and that sort of thing. But the issue is it child abuse? That becomes the question. I think it's laughable that it's child abuse. If the program doesn't work, and we've got research that says the program doesn't work, all right, cool. Don't waste money on the program. I'm okay with that. Find another way. Maybe the mentoring thing is the way to go. They do these, the pit bulls and parolees type thing. And I hear that some inmates, they get these rescue animals and whatnot. The idea is to train the animals, and that helps with the inmate. Instead of training animals, just train a kid. Stick the kid with the inmate for the day. under supervision, of course, sit them with the inmate for the day, have the inmate kind of talk about what their day is like. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with experiencing what a day is like in jail. I think once that happens, the average person will probably not want to be there anymore. They realize they can't have their cell phone and can't talk on the phone when they want to, and I got no privacy anywhere, and they're locked in their cell for however many hours a day they get locked in their cell and that sort of stuff. So that might work just for the sheer fact they would be bored. But, you know, evaluating the programs, I guess you're going to have to evaluate each individual program. But this notion that this is somehow child abuse to do this stuff, well, is it child abuse to not do it? Where you can't spank the kid. You can't take away the kid's basic necessities. You can't do any of the things that might get you into legal trouble as a parent. So is it child abuse to not do anything at all because the parent is out of options? Because shouldn't that be considered child abuse? At that point, the kid's going to continue to do what they're doing, end up behind bars, maybe hurt somebody else. I think that's a real question willing to ask people as well. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. I'm sure one of these child psychologists is saying, don't just get down on your knees and talk to them at their own level, and they'll totally cave and understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I learned real quick that didn't work. Learned that with a 3-year-old. Hard to believe that would work on anybody in their teens. Just don't buy it at all. We got open lines coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC FM and HD1. Niles.
With scared straight of help Michael Cohen. Maybe, well, I don't know. He wasn't scared enough of jail. He lied again. All right, open lines coming up next. I'll be right back. Hey, what's up? Sean Haas is in the house. Cool, man. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Haas. He's watching the live stream. Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Here's what they said in
full quote. Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? All right, I will get you on there. You are first in line. Can I get your name, please? Can I get your name, please? Real quick. All right, Deb. There you go. Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? All right, Ted. We'll go ahead and.
We still stop short of holding Kim Jong-un personally responsible. The president speaks tomorrow at the annual conservative conference known as CPAC, where Vice President Mike Pence spoke today.
What Medicare for all really means is quality health care for none. The only thing green
we'll go ahead and put it on hold, and you can get on there.
Green, it's going to cost taxpayers if these people ever pass into law.
Offering a warning to 2020 voters about Democrats and socialism. Washington Governor Jay Inslee becoming the latest Democrat to run for president.
It is our moment to solve America's most daunting challenge and make it the first, foremost, and paramount duty of the United States, and that is to defeat climate change.
But next week, he will have even more company in the race, with former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper set to jump in. This is Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. Michiana's news channel on 95.3 FM, the 95.3 MNC skill on Alexa, and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm John Zimney in the MNC News Center. Among our top stories this afternoon, it's a guilty plea for the man who prosecutors say struck and killed a 50-year-old Mishawaka man on East McKinley Avenue and then left the scene. The collision happened on Valentine's Day night and claimed the life of Lester Harrell. 26-year-old Vincent Hunter Jr. pleaded guilty to leaving the scene after his vehicle was spotted by an officer at an Elkhart apartment complex. He turned himself into police, admitted he had hit something, but said he wasn't sure what it was. An elderly woman pulled from a house that caught fire in South Bend has died. Crews responded to the blaze in the 900 block of Stanfield early this morning. 88-year-old Phyllis Swihart was given CPR and taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. An autopsy set for tomorrow. There's no word yet on how the fire started. More national media appearances for South Bend Mayor and perhaps presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg. Earlier today, he was the guest on the podcast Pod Save America. Ms. Van Viver asked, the first thing to do if elected president and Mayor Pete responded, move on democratic reform.
It's not because I have any illusion that that's one of the easier things to do, or even that some of the things we need to do can happen quickly. I mean, we're talking about building a cathedral on some of these reforms when it comes to what it might take to reverse citizenship,
The joy of almond.
depoliticize the Supreme Court. But I think you
You
launched
ended
that
up
on day one.
Oh, you
As a signal,
do that.
we're living in a time when we got to fix the engine of our democracy, because every other issue that I care about, from gun violence to climate change, isn't going to get better as long as our democracy is this warped.
The judge will spend a full hour on CNN speaking at the town hall event live from the South by Southwest Festival on March 10th. And in an effort to keep March Madness off the roads, the Elkhart County Traffic Safety Partnership is warning drivers of increased patrols this month.
They hope to curtail aggressive driving violations and possibly save lives. Besides drunk driving patrols, police will be looking for drivers who are following too closely, performing unsafe lane movements, aggressive drivers, speeders, and red lights.
Alrighty.
In addition to this,
What's up, everybody?
officers from 230 other law enforcement agencies across Indiana will be doing the same sort of patrols.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr reporting.
Weather served by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles.
All right, I am going to reauthorize YouTube because I know it's going to conk out on me here in a minute.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
High clouds this afternoon, but still some sunshine and temperatures near 40. Temperatures will be falling once again. 26 tonight, chance of some light snow showers early Saturday. We top out with a high of 34, but temperatures fall from there. We'll be in the 20s on Sunday with a chance of light snow. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coon.
Skies are overcast and it's 41 at the 95
There we go.
Studios. I'm John 70 News Talk. Michiana's News Channel.
Wow, somebody beat Ted?
Barely.
Woo, yeah. Like 15 seconds.
Ted wants to talk about how to do business in Europe.
Okay.
You have a Z-bar and thermodyne read to do.
Z-Bart and Thermodyne. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest
I
mortgage.
thought I did Z-Bar. Did I not do that? Oh, crap. I didn't do it.
No, we did Core.
Damn. We talked about doing Z-Bar.
We talked about doing Z-Bar because we were talking about doing college.
And that's because we were talking about Z-Bar. I mentally thought we did Z-Bar. So, alrighty then. What is this? So the UN is displaying an anti-American mass murderer at the Geneva office. Who is this? Oh, I got the pop-ups. Do you really need a full-page pop-up that redirects me to another website? Come on.
Install basic pop-up blocker.
I have a pop-up blocker on there. Yes.
Install at 5, Casey.
Che Guevara. A picture of Che Guevara is in the hall of the Geneva building at the United Nations. A mass murderer and a bigot. Cool. Wonderful.
Amazing.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-953. That is 2595-953. Been some interesting guests that have showed up in the live stream chat this week.
Yes, we have.
Had somebody from Korea was talking to us the other day from Seoul, South Korea. We've got Sean Haas, who's the Republican candidate running for mayor of South Bend. He's in the live chat right now. Maybe hop in and ask him a couple of questions or just hang out, whatever. So that's pretty cool. Been a very interesting week for the live stream, to say the least.
Hope it is.
So go to youtube.com/Casey the host. Join the live stream with us. Again, it is open lines, the final hour free-for-all. We do this every Friday. In the 5 o'clock hour, we open it up for everybody to call about whatever they want. We'll get to those phone calls in just a second. But first, I have to tell you about Z-Bar to South Bend. So here's the deal. We were just talking with our boss, John. Hurt his back because he's an old man. He hurt his back vacuuming his car the other day. And Joe's first response was, we have an advertiser who does that, right?
And he goes, yeah, I know. Should have done it. Yeah, exactly. And we had Daywalker Dave. He was in here just a few minutes ago, and we had a whole conversation about Z-Bart. And I was telling him my true story about the first time we used Z-Bart for the interior detail on our old SUV. And we're swapping stories about when you remove your kid's car seat and the mountain of stuff that is left behind, the crumbs and everything else just get ground into your seat and all of that you didn't know existed. You thought your car was clean. You thought it was clean, but you take the car seat out and there is just a mountain of crumbs and toys and crayons and all sorts of stuff under there. And sometimes that's been mushed into your seats, real hard to get out. Z-Bart can get that out. Plus, they got Germ Defender and everything else. Now is the time, as the seasons are changing, to go get your interior detail and Germ Defender at Z-Bart of South Bend. Of course, when you're there, let Z-Bart of South Bend know that I sent you. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. It is open lines to the phones we go. Deb, you're first up. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Casey. How are you?
I am hanging in there, feeling much better. So what can I do for you today?
Well, that's good. I want to address the earlier conversation you had about turn your brights off.
Yes. Boy, that drives me nuts.
I got your point. I'm going to take the other perspective from, I'm a van driver for a school that takes handicapped children or special skills children to school.
Okay.
And the people that I run into at, and no pun intended, I don't run into them. I'm just telling you what I'm finding every morning.
Okay.
Are those who do not turn their lights on at all when it's dark out.
Those
and
people,
we live in the county.
They're worse than the people with the brights.
You're telling me because we have precious, precious lives. All of our students are precious to take to school. We hold those kids' lives in our hands as we're driving. People that do not follow, and it's a law, it's on the books. You have to pass the test. It's on the test. You have to have your lights on. And I'm for having your lights on all the time. On these cloudy, horrible days.
Oh, I know.
Where we have fog, we have snow, we have everything thrown at us here in Indiana. There is no reason why you shouldn't have your lights on.
How many times have you heard me complain?
I disagree with you because I think you are absolutely fantastic. But if you have to have your brights on, go for it. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I would rather it just be the normal lights, but that way you're not blinding other people because those people, if I can't see, I'm going to swerve and hit your kids. And that's the last thing. That's the last thing that I want to do. But you bring up such a good point because over the past month and a half, I have seen at least a dozen vehicles, a lot of them on Grape Road, no lights. Just driving down the road. I flashed my lights at a bunch of people and they haven't paid any attention and turned them on. I was driving behind somebody for 3 miles the other day. They never turned their lights on.
Yeah, I wish I had an arm on my bus that says, "Turn your lights on, idiot."
You can get, hey, Deb, you can get programmable LED signs. You can, I'm not making this up. They're like $10. They're super easy. And I don't think you're going to get fired for this. So you put it up in the back of the bus. And then what you have to do is you have to just get around them and then pull in front of them and then hit the power button on it up in your control panel up front. And it will say, turn your lights on. It'll flash at them.
Well, believe me, it's a madhouse, and then they'll get on the side of you and they'll start taking pictures of you driving. So if anything happens, you're going to be turned in. So I just wish that we would put that on the radio every morning. Please turn your lights on.
I will tell Mark to do that. Because I bet if we have all of the accidents that were responsible for somebody not having their lights on, especially on those gray days. I talk about the white and silver and gray cars because they're always the ones that never turn their lights on. You can't see them. I almost got sideswiped this year by a car I couldn't see in fog because they didn't have any lights on. So I'm willing to bet that Mark McGill is responsible for almost all of those accidents that don't involve having your lights on. So I will make sure that he's well aware that he's causing some serious problems.
He really, everybody out there needs to be a little bit more. The police can't be pulling people over all the time, but we need to enforce our laws that are already on the books, no matter what they are.
There you go.
And I'm telling you, it's, and I had a car. He came out behind a box truck, and I was getting ready to off of a side road to turn onto a major highway, and there he was with no lights on, a black car, and you could hardly see him. And we do what they call the rock and roll, because you got by the door, you got the window, and you got that great big bulky thing. But I'm telling you, it is, if we just would start thinking that we turn your lights on. And if you can't remember to turn your lights off, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be driving.
Do you think it would help if they painted your vehicle a color that would be more noticeable when you're driving around?
Well, the yellow bus.
It's really hard to see that yellow bus, I hear. Yeah.
The yellow bus is pretty bad, but mine happens to be a white bus.
Oh, it's white.
A lot of them are.
Well, then my joke didn't work, so never mind.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Hey, Deb, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Laugh, but I thought I'd better straighten it out because I'll get it from the bus driver.
There you go. You have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Well,
all right.
Thanks for listening, and
My
you
pleasure.
have a fantastic weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You too. Take care. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. Thought it was going to be funny. But it turns out she doesn't drive a yellow bus. Ted, welcome to the program.
Hello, sir.
What's up?
I want to tell you, I did not tell you because my life was very different than the regular one. I was involved with, in 1977, my brother-in-law wanted to do business in Romania.
Okay.
It was a communist Romania. I had my connection at Central Committee of the Communist Party and so on and so forth. That was beside the point. So I went over there and I found a guy from my next town, Peter, that spoke English, and he knew the Bucharest. And they had to go over there to the Minister of Finances, Minister of Industry, Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Labor, and the syndicate. Syndicate is nothing else than the labor union. That's called syndicate.
Okay, all right.
Syndicate come over there about the wages, benefits, overtime, sick leave, accident insurance, and the doctors who pay for that one.
Okay.
So,
okay, what's the point? What am I missing?
The point is, he went to all these ministers over there. The fact was, they sent him from one place to another.
Okay.
And the thing is, he said, it's more laws and rules and regulation over here than the devil's in the hell. And that was the truth.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and for each minister that if you go to Minister of Finances this year, they will tell you come next year. To do a business in Moscow was the same. So it's very difficult to enter in that market. That was in 77. 1970 and 79, Senator Feinstein from California, her husband, in 79, he opened business in China. He opened too fast.
Yeah.
Because it will take you 6 to 8 years to enter in the business over there. Don't tell me that baloney.
So you're saying he opened his business a little bit quicker than average while she happened to have a Chinese spy working for her.
Yes, because of the fact that his wife was senator. Now, if
interesting.
Your wife is a senator or congressman, you get the business passed.
Very interesting. That's a great story. Hey, Ted, I'm running late though. I got to bounce. My producer's waving at me.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. That's very interesting. Dianne Feinstein's husband opened a business in China quicker than the average bear. And let's not forget, she had a Chinese spy working for her. She didn't know there were a Chinese spy, but I wonder if the Chinese spy was able to call in some favors so they could use that to spy on Dianne Feinstein's husband, which is entirely possible. So whether or not it was corruption or it was the Chinese government trying to gain an angle on the Feinsteins, I don't know. But very interesting call, Ted. We got more open lines coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3.
Up anyway.
Got his name. Get him back on and get his name for nothing. Your widget got disabled.
Aw, man. Stupid widget.
Unrelated topic.
Well, let's see if Facebook banned me again.
Nope.
Maybe Mark hired that gray car to take me out. Possible. Entirely possible. Wouldn't put it past him. So I got to get this video ready. There's a really good Ronald Reagan video at CPAC this year, and I want to play it for you.
Oh,
So before the program
on the
is done.
lights thing.
Yes.
Driving on grape.
On what? Oh, grape. Sorry. Grape. G. Yes. Sorry.
Grape.
Yes. Grape. Okay. Grape.
The fruit.
Yes.
And or Maine. The one that's over the.
That's Maine.
Maine. I was on Maine.
Grape, Maine.
I was on Maine, and I didn't have my lights on because it was a car I wasn't used to driving. My car has auto lights, so they usually turn on. I noticed.
Right.
It was brighter out. It was just bright enough for me to see, and so I didn't think about it. And this guy like slows down behind, like right in front of me. And he's just like not moving. He's just crawling. He waves. So I go around him, and as I pass him, also hears "Turn your lights on!" as I pass him.
Just yelling at you.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, lights!" So I flip them on. And I just.
Okay, but see, he doesn't need to do that. So, like, I've gotten in front of people before who didn't have their lights on, and I turn mine on and off over and over and over. And eventually, they go, "What the hell is this guy doing? It's not his brake lights." Wait a minute. And then they. So you don't need to block somebody and yell at them. I mean, you got to be smart about how you're going to do it. Otherwise, you're going to call an accident or cause an accident. But let's just assume he's a jerk.
I thought it was funny.
It's pretty funny though.
It's hilarious and it was effective. Every time I drive that car now, I always need to turn on my lights.
I think that's what Ted was saying. I'm going to go and I'm going to operate on I saved the call. I like what Stymie is saying.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth.
I never have any idea what Ted's
May
saying.
I ask why?
I found a teeth cleaner that works.
Only because I have a little Russian that I speak, can I understand his accent. So it's just because of that. That's the only reason I can kind of pick up on some of his cues. But there's some times that he talks, and I'm lost. Like, you'll know it though. I'll be like, I got no idea what's going on here.
Then try power swaps. There's no messy strips or trays.
Why is the car got to be black though?
Just swap your teeth
Shame on you all.
as well as caps and veneers. Try power swaps risk-free by calling 1-800-204-1201. That's 1-800-204-1201. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-204-1201. That's 1-800-204-1201.
Mandated fitness trackers so your company can keep track of you. Maybe soon. Details Monday morning.
Here we go. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. A little bit later, before we get out of here, there was a really good video that was produced for CPAC. CPAC is happening right now. I have heard really good things about Michelle Malkin's speech today. Now, here's the thing. At CPAC, there's always a few really good speeches that you should listen to. Michelle Malkin, every single year, is phenomenal. So you always have to listen to Michelle Malkin when she gives a speech. We also hear that Mike Pence had a roaring standing ovation when he gave his today as well. But there was a video that was produced for CPAC. I want to play for you before the end of the show today. We're going to take phone calls first because people have been waiting very patiently. But I do want to remind you that it is open line. So you can call about anything you want right now. 574-2595, 95.3. Back to the phones we go. Matt, welcome to the program.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
I'm well, man. What's up?
Hey, I think it was Wednesday you were talking about the trans athletes and how they were affecting the sports and the Olympics and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I wanted to mention about that was I think we should go ahead and just push that through. Let that happen. Let them integrate because it will completely destroy Title IX.
Well,
and I don't think they realize that.
You know, that's an interesting point because Title IX was obviously created to give, female athletes this extra opportunity. And Title IX, or the transgender athletes, are messing with their Title IX advantages that were programmed into the law. So, yeah, there's some interesting things there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with college.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially in the Olympics, too, because the Title IX, I mean, that's not part of the Olympics, but Title IX took into consideration the biological differences between men and women.
Sure.
Where where nothing else does. And, most lefts and liberals don't like to admit that there are differences between men and women by election.
Sure. Yeah. It's an interesting point, though. Yeah, let it go ahead and sing Title IX. All right. Fair enough. Hey, Matt, appreciate it, bud. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. Now, Title IX almost destroyed wrestling in this country. I mean, it came real close. They were able to go ahead and figure that out, thank God. And now wrestling's a growing sport in the U.S. again. Greg, welcome to the program. How are you?
Good. How are you, Casey?
I'm doing well.
Hey, I'm calling about that boot camp stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? That's ridiculous. Child abuse. I can tell you what child abuse is, but I would rather have them go through that than have to support them in prison.
Well, that's just the thing. I mean, when parents send them to something like that, they're at their wits' end. The parent at that point has nothing else to do.
Exactly. So, and if I'm not mistaken, from the research I've done on it, the parents have to sign a release to let them go to it.
Correct.
So if the parents are agreeing to it, how could that be child abuse?
Well, parents can abuse their kids too.
I mean, that's understandable.
Sure.
It's not like it's something that's going on without the parents' approval.
Right.
And, when I was in the Marine Corps at boot camp, you got scared straight real quick.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They used to be able to put hands on you too. Now it's real. They're talking about allowing some hands back on is what they're talking about now, because they got too far away from physical contact, and they feel that has been a detriment. And of course it has, without a doubt.
I mean, I got my nose broken.
Well, I mean, it's silly that the drill instructor or the drill sergeant can't mess with you, but they can stick you in a pit and let you fight your fellow soldiers. I mean, come on. I mean, that's a little. You can have your nose busted with a Pugo stick or in hand-to-hand training, but the drill instructor can't touch you. That's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Enjoy your show, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Enjoy your flight. Appreciate it. So 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Cell phone reception's getting okay on airplanes these days. I had a couple of people calling from airplanes here recently. So I want to play this clip. Cue up my audio for me, please, Joe. This is called Fight On. This is from the CPAC conference, which is happening right now, the annual conservative conference. And I just want you to go ahead and enjoy this. The video is much more powerful than the audio. So it'll be in the daily show prep for you to go ahead and watch. I would encourage you to do so. But this is called Fight On from CPAC 2019.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy? The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Their 2020 platform sounds identical to policies already tried and now failing in the collapsed socialist state of Venezuela.
It's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it.
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
Abolish ICE. It's a growing call from Democrats to get rid of the agency that arrests and removes illegal immigrants in the U.S.
I think we should get rid of ICE. We need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Why is it good for us to pay for the health care bills of people who snuck in here against our laws?
It's good for people who are in our country, who are contributing to this country's success.
Does it also apply to, gang members or vagrants? I think they were covered too, weren't they? These hot-button issues like free college, free healthcare, once thought to be radical, appear to be the starting line in this Democratic primary.
The three core demands of the National Day of Action are free public college, a cancellation of student debt, and a $15 an hour minimum wage for people who work on the campus.
And how's that going to be paid?
Great question.
Do you call yourself a radical?
Yeah, if that's what radical means, call me a radical.
Nancy Pelosi. Do you recognize her as the leader for the House Democrats?
Of course.
We, as you are aware, we are diligent.
I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. So please bring on the recession. Sorry if that hurts people.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, you get out and you tell them they're not welcome.
They go low, we kick them.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar under attack for anti-Semitic tweets.
Can you respond to that?
No, thank you.
You used the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that? I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing. I am not the expert.
They are the future face of the Democratic Party. They are not only anti-Israel, but often that anti-Zionism morphs into anti-Semitism.
Either the Klansman or the guy in blackface is right now the Democratic governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam.
Northam's nickname was a racial slur.
They called me Coon Man. I did participate in a dance contest in which I darkened my face as part of a Michael Jackson costume. I actually won the contest because I had learned how to do the moonwalk. My wife says inappropriate circumstances.
Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts with a DNA test to prove her Native American ancestry.
Her DNA test claiming she's part Native American appears to be backfiring.
Tonight, the leaders of the Cherokee Nation are speaking out against Senator Elizabeth Warren's campaign video touting her Native American ancestry.
Have you considered dropping out of the race?
You're talking about zero carbon emissions, no use of fossil fuels within 12 years.
That is the goal. It's ambitious. And
How is that possible? You're talking about everybody having to drive an electric car?
Admitting in earlier drafts that, quote, we aren't sure that we'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows and airplanes that fast.
I really don't like their policy of taking away your car, of taking away your airplane flights, of let's hop a train. You're not allowed to own cows anymore. You know, there are a lot of problems.
It was stunning how quickly some Democrats jumped on this proposal.
We need to be bold.
No, it's impractical. Oh, it's too expensive. Keeping track of Democrats who might be driving a hard left, and a lot of them happy to do so.
Socialism is apparently becoming mainstream.
America will never be a socialist country. Never. We're born free, we will live free, and we will die free. This has been a great movement. They try like hell. They cannot stand what we've done. But we're doing the right thing. And I will never, ever, ever let you down. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.
All right, that is the video Fight On, which was introduced as CPAC 2019. The video is much more impactful than the audio, though the audio is very impactful because the video shows the individual saying it. I know that most of you can probably make out who they are by their voice, but you know, you're looking at the top tier Democratic Party. The people are viewed as the most likely to get the nomination going forward, signing on with a lot of this stuff and saying a lot of the things that you're talking about. And it's a pretty brutal indictment on the Democratic Party of the United States of America. We've got more coming up with open lines. We've got another half hour of open lines left. MNC News Time is 5:32. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online. MastersHeatCool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
My wife says that is not appropriate.
What's that?
My wife says that is not an appropriate circumstance.
And then she hands out cotton. Yeah, the moo in the video was great. And it was like an up-close camera shot of the cow's nose. It was awesome. My favorite part of the video is when Nancy Pelosi is having the meltdown and her eyes are this big and she's looking around like, my teleprompter's broke. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And she can't move, you know, because she's Skeletor. It's awesome stuff. It's a really good video. It could be a campaign ad, honestly. A 5.5-minute campaign ad.
to your cell phone, text the word weather to 45364. And Coach Brian Kelly spoke to reporters as spring practice gets underway for the Notre Dame football team. He says a lot of good things are blossoming with the team.
We're seeing young men that are now in a leadership position, whether it be by class or by maturity, that has made them more accountable in a lot of areas. I think you'll see physical gains.
He says wide receiver Javon McKinley is still suspended from the team and will be so until his legal issues are cleared up. McKinley's charged in connection with the assault on 2 campus officers who found him unconscious in an Uber, smelling of booze as they tried to help him from the vehicle to his dorm room. He's expected back in court in mid-April.
Did her eyes look like Momo? Yes. Her eyes look just like Momo. For real. We should call her, instead of calling her Skeletor, we should call her Momo now.
$1 million bounty on his head. The State Department calls him an emerging Al-Qaeda leader. Quote, since at least August 2015, he has released audio and video messages on the internet calling on his followers to launch attacks against the United States and its Western allies.
Jennifer Griffin, Vice President Mike Pence slamming Democratic proposals like the Green New Deal at a conservative conference in Maryland.
Democrats are embracing the same tired economic theory of powers, nations, and stifling the liberties of millions of this country. That system is socialism.
And President Trump is scheduled to speak at the CPAC
Woo, damn.
conference.
Had the chills again.
This is Fox News.
Weather, served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist first warning forecast.
High clouds this afternoon, but still some sunshine and temperatures near 40. Temperatures will be falling once again. 26 tonight, chance of some light snow showers early Saturday. We top out with a high of 34, but temperatures fall from there. We'll be in the 20s on Sunday with a chance of light snow. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coon.
News powered by Temper Grill. Make plans this week to experience the
All
unmatched
right.
style of Temper Grill. Seating is limited. Call or visit tempergranger.com today.
From the Fox Business Network on Wall Street, the major averages kicking off the month in the green, boosted by trade optimism. The Dow snapping a 9-week winning streak, but the Nasdaq notching its 10th consecutive week of gains, with the Dow closing up 110 points, Nasdaq up 63, S&P 500 up 19. And Lyft making moves for its Wall Street debut and providing IPO documentation on what is expected to be one of the biggest years for tech IPOs ever. The filing sets the company up to begin trading in late March on the Nasdaq.
Momo it is, Brandon says.
$2 billion, which was up $1 billion in 2017. However, the company has yet to turn a profit. And consumer products giant
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? All right, can I get your name, please?
At an Oklahoma mill, the James facility opened back in
All right, Jeff,
1990.
let's try to get you on there.
And Scott Back Tissue Products, and also includes a regional distribution center. With the Fox Business Report on
Popular open line Friday we have had in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's weird because traditionally Friday is packed and the lines are full the entire time. And it's only been not busy since you've been here. For real.
And helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked.
Don't know why.
You know, those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business. Oh, I'm ready! Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Sun Services is your local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Here's owner Jamie Teray on the benefits of
Benjamin Watson was a speaker, the football player. He's a big pro-life guy.
And your customers like family. And we want to continue to give that to our customers. We're able to do that with great products and great employees that really care about each other, and we're not just concerned about numbers.
Give Sun Services a call today, 574-271-5010. Your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Tired of clicking a link and getting blocked because you don't subscribe to the paper? Read all the news you want when you want with Press Reader, a service of Elkhart Public Library. Get started today with your library card at myepl.org/headlines. Whether you're into the Tribune or the Sun-Times, Press Reader has what you're looking for. Fresh headlines every day with your Elkhart Public Library card, and it's free. Visit myepl.org/headlines. Download the app and start reading. Elkhart Public Library, informing our communities.
When we say food with attitude, what we mean is the finest American-style tapas food in Michiana. Surrounded by a craft beer, fine wine, champagne, and dessert list that is as unique and seasonal as our menu.
Dan Crenshaw spoke.
Chef Sean works with the finest ingredients to deliver you an unmatched dining experience that changes every week to fit the time of the year and his mood, while always satisfying your taste buds. Visit Tuesday nights for half-price wine bottles, Wednesday for $2 beer night. Visit Thursdays to check out Roman's Ridiculous List, or upgrade your evenings Tuesdays through Saturdays with the atmosphere of Temper Grill. We're the perfect backdrop for any occasion. Reservations required, 21 and up. Explore our menu, buy gift cards, or make a simple dinner reservation at tempergranger.com. Unplug and relax with a truly unforgettable dining experience. Because life is too short, and the food is too good to break bread in a bad mood. Temper Grill, food with attitude.
What happened? You used to go hours without visiting the bathroom. Now it seems like you're constantly getting up to pee, and you're even getting up at night to go. This is not okay. Listen, the makers of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 prostate formula, are introducing a new wonder pill, Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced, with 3 key ingredients that are great for your prostate. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. To celebrate, we're sending free bottles to men who want to cut down on bathroom trips. Yes, your first 30-day supply is free. Pay shipping and handling. Call 1-800-253-2181. Early research suggests that an ingredient in P3 Advanced may help support a normal prostate size. Combine that with a reduction in urgency.
There's a lot of speakers at CPAC. Remember, not everybody gets on the, the primetime main stage stuff. It's, it basically runs all day. So.
253-2181. 1-800-253-2181.
Somebody was asking if that was Cluck on that commercial. I didn't hear the commercial, but probably. He does a lot of commercials. Cluck voices a lot of them. The lower talent in the building voices commercials, while the rest of us only do commercials for the people who sponsor us. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. The Guns and Everything Outdoor Show is happening tomorrow. Starts at 9 a.m., goes until 5, and then on Sunday, starts at 9, goes until 3 at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. And it's $5 to get in. Kids 12 and under are free. Hunting, fishing, camping, archery, trapping, all of that for the outdoors is going to be there. I will be at the Second Amendment Arms booth, hanging out with them, whether they like it or not. I haven't asked them. They did ask if I could go. And by that, I took it to mean come hang out at our booth as our gun bunny. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be there tomorrow starting at about 10 o'clock. I don't think I'll be there all day, though, so I'll probably be there for a couple of hours. If you want to come on out and say hello, that'd be fantastic. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. It is open lines. Final hour free-for-all is happening right now. You got about 20 minutes left to get your call in. To the phone lines we go. Jeff, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Casey.
What's up?
I'm traveling home right now to Elkhart from CPAC. I was there with a press pass, and I just want to tell you, every time that video played, every single time the room was on fire. It didn't matter.
It was a great video. Yeah, really good.
Oh, my gosh. And I also wanted to share with you an analogy that I heard because I think you will appreciate it. Sebastian Gorka spoke, and he said that the new Green Deal is a watermelon. Maybe you've heard this.
I did.
But he said that, okay, the outside
but
is
tell
green
everybody
and the
else.
inside is,
Yeah.
Okay, so he said that the outside is green, but the inside is deep, deep communist red.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just a fantastic analogy. So
he's a very smart and witty guy, no doubt about it.
All right, Jeff. Appreciate it, bud.
Huge.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Yeah, it's, and people keep asking me, are you going to get out to CPAC? You get out to CPAC? Like my buddy Tony Katz is out there right now. And it's like, I get the invite, and then it's just a matter of money and stuff like that. And we have, I don't know, if it ends up being a company thing, they got to sell a sponsorship. And I don't know, if you want to sponsor me going to CPAC next year, then you get in contact with our salespeople and we'll work it out. Casey, did Rand, Amash, Massey, Lee, or any constitutionalists get time to talk? I kind of gave up on CPAC. Okay, I'm really glad that you said this, because 2 years ago, CPAC hated Donald Trump. Hated him. Didn't want him around. Remember, he's a fraud. And you had a couple of people stand up and say, all right, you people need to chill out because you're not giving him a fair shake here. And some of the stuff you're saying about him are not right. Some of them got booed. Some of them won the crowd over. Just depended on the crowd and the speaker. So to answer your question, yes, they had a lot of speakers. But let's see. I'm going through some of them here. Amash wasn't there. I don't think Amash really does the CPAC thing. He's he's much more of a libertarian-minded Republican. Mike Lee did speak. Matt Gaetz spoke. Let's see who else here. I'm just looking at some of the representatives real quick. There's obviously conservatives who were speakers. Dan Crenshaw, I would have loved to have seen him. Representative Crenshaw from Texas, who I am quickly becoming a fanboy of. Governor Matt Bevin, Representative Jim Jordan spoke. Scott Walker was there. Some people are tepid on Scott Walker. So yeah, I mean, there's some big speakers. Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens were there. Candace Owens is also going to be the keynote for the St. Joseph County Republican Lincoln Day dinner, which I will be the MC for. So she's coming to town. That's going to be awesome. But there's a lot of speakers. If you go to cpac.conservative.org, you can look at all of the speakers there. And you can kind of, click through and take a look at them. But yeah, Glenn Beck spoke today, which I thought was interesting. Nigel Farage from the UK, he's a speaker today, one of the big ones today. So some pretty good speakers. There's obviously some Republican types, not conservative types, but it's CPAC. It kind of covers the whole gambit of all of that. But it is interesting because CPAC, for some time, a couple of those years there, really was kind of soft. Now, Rick Santorum spoke, and Rick Santorum has been picked apart by conservatives on social media over the past couple of days because Rick Santorum showed up at CPAC with a big giant banner that says it's time for Republicans to support paid family leave. And of course, a lot of people at CPAC are religious, and a lot of people at CPAC who are religious don't like the idea of the government taking control over something that should be done as a religious sort of a thing, because you're giving government control over something that is considered a religious thing to many people. And that's the same government that kind of restricts what and how you practice your religion based on some of the stuff we've seen with small business owners and that over the past several years. So a lot of people were very upset with Rick Santorum. So there were some speakers that were not very popular. Michelle Malkin, I always listen to her speeches anyway. She's obviously one of my favorite people. I think you guys know that I've always liked Michelle Malkin. And when we got an opportunity to bring her to town, we didn't hesitate. She was phenomenal. But she always gives a good speech at CPAC. And from what I hear, her speech today where she mentioned it's time to get rid of the ghost of John McCain, because Michelle Malkin will not hold back on anybody, period. And when she said that, I am told the audience exploded in cheers. So I really am looking forward to seeing that. There are some celebrities, too, on the political right. Rick Harrison, he is from Pawn Stars. He's the main guy from Pawn Stars. You had Gary Sinise, who was there. So, there's a lot of really good folks, a lot of people from Second Amendment territory and everything else. Lots and lots of speakers. Prager spoke, which I bet was also phenomenal because Prager has been dealing with situations with censorship on YouTube for Prager University, which are non-controversial videos. NFL player Benjamin Watson was there. Benjamin Watson's a huge pro-life advocate. So having somebody in the NFL speaking at CPAC, that's a huge risk for him to take, considering everything that's happening in the NFL right now. For him to show up at the conservative conference of the year and be able to speak there, that's a huge risk for his career. So kudos to him for being able to do that. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
On your radio at 95.
Youth Doomer Dying coming out.
You got it.
And then we should be good on reads, I believe.
Word.
For today.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table. Start your morning with the Prime Table in Niles. This week's breakfast special.
If you were given $1 million to buy only one item of your choice, what would it be?
$1 million to buy one item, or can I spend the $1 million?
You have to spend it on one item.
On one item, $1 million on one item. Can it be a lot of one item?
Sure.
I'd have to think about that.
I don't know what the base of that question is. We're just taking it out of the Vibes question. It's just a good question. I think I would probably buy a decent car. Or a house. Like
I
buy a house.
If I had $1 million to buy any item, I would probably buy a $500,000 house.
That's what I was thinking, like just buy a house outright and just live my life and just only have to pay for utilities. It's like that or a car, depending on the money.
But I would choose the house because then at least you have a place to stay and you only have to pay the taxes every year. So you've got to buy the right size house, because $1 million house can have huge taxes you got to pay. And you don't have the $1 million anymore. $500,000 house, you could probably cover the taxes with a normal monthly stipend. But I would pick one that has probably a guest house property. Yep.
Something like that.
My mom says a $1 million annuity.
Yes, let's ask the rich people. They're so
My mom's not rich, but she used to sell annuities. Oh, ask the rich people?
Yes, ask the rich people because they're so in touch.
I guess technically an annuity is a product, not a... it depends, like if that would meet the rules. Like, could you buy an investment? Like, could I take $1 million and invest in a company? Could I buy $1 million worth of shares in a company? You know, that sort of thing, or would that be considered an investment? So, is it a tangible good?
I would count that. I would count that as the thing you could buy.
Have to get into the rules, because that's another thing you could do. Even if you,
my mom was talking about this.
Yeah. So you could also buy, even just a guaranteed CD.
Yeah.
Because it'll, at that point, you'll wait a year, but you'll have all of the money that a CD makes, and CD rates are coming back as well.
Fast and for a fair price, call me at 574-621-3277. I can pay cash.
Could I start a company with my $1 million?
Yep, he spoke too, David.
Any price range and
Can you do what?
Could I invest into a startup company just because?
I'm a private real estate investor.
I think we need more information on the rules. I was thinking tangible good, but
you never know.
I buy inherited houses,
Depends on the thing on the question.
houses. I even buy
a yacht.
Yeah.
A yacht that costs $1,001,000. So I can go into debt.
Looks like we're good on the show end today, so I don't have to knock anything out.
Oh wow! Amazing, amazing.
Indiana 811. Yes, you should contact.
Sounds like one of our callers.
Well, some annuities have that complaint too. It depends on the CD, and it depends on the annuity. I haven't looked at annuities in a long time. I'm not a big pro annuity guy, so it's an investment. I mean, sometimes annuities are good, sometimes CDs are good. It just depends on when you're investing and the type of product you're using.
Remember to do Thermodyne.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, just want to make sure you remind you. Just trying to do my job.
Word. I will, Alex. Thank you. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I got to tell you about Data Bunker. So Data Bunker, I've told you about Data Bunker now for several months. Data Bunker is an amazing product. And as we're moving, of course, we're finding all of the documents that we haven't found. I found my wife's birth certificate the other day. She hasn't been able to find that thing in probably 5 or 6 years. So I found that. I found a lot of stuff for like my family tree.
that I had a general idea of where it was, but I actually had the wrong room in the basement. I knew it was in the basement, but I had the entire wrong room. So things like that you don't ever want to lose, that you never want to be destroyed in a natural disaster. We talked about AccuWeather predicting there's going to be over 1,000 tornadoes this year. We have no idea what it's going to be, but imagine a tornado comes through, blows through your home, God forbid, and destroys all of your stuff. And you never see those papers again. They're just ripped to shreds. They're gone, whatever. And then you have the data bunker there. You pick the data bunker up and you plug it into a computer and boom, you're good to go. You know, the data bunker is flood-proof, tornado-proof, hurricane-proof, nuclear EMP-proof, fire-proof, you name it. You can go to databunker1.com. That's databunker and the number 1.com. And you can see all of the amazing tests that they have done with this thing, including leaving it submerged in salt water for 2 days. I mean, this thing survives. It is a black box, just like you see in trains and planes. It is made by a company who makes those black boxes right here in the United States with clean electronics. Oh, and it's made in Elkhart. So it's local. And we talked about cryptocurrency earlier today because those people were able to buy their seasteading house using Bitcoin. They made their money on Bitcoin and they said, let's build a house in the middle of international waters. If you buy a data bunker, because data bunker is set up to protect your cryptocurrency, if you buy a data bunker with cryptocurrency, you save 10%. Pretty cool, right? And if you use my name, use coupon code Casey, you also get to save some money. So go to databunker1.com. That's databunker and the number 1.com. Don't forget to use my name, Casey, C-A-S-E-Y, and get yourself an extra discount. All right. What else do we have here? Project Veritas. They've got more videos coming out exposing how Facebook actively targets conservatives. I guess I saw the headline come through and I didn't get an opportunity to watch the video yet that Steven Crowder might be suing Facebook. And some listeners who have watched it said that he'll have a decision, I guess, next week. But the reason that came up is because Facebook had a bunch of document leaks that came out. So we now know that Facebook is, in fact, targeting very specific conservative personalities on the platform. And Crowder came up. So Steven Crowder, obviously one of the bigger conservative personalities on their platform. That's where he primarily hosts his show. He's got an audio podcast, but it's just of the video podcast. And the video podcast is what it's designed for. So you lose a lot when you listen to the audio. So anyway, Project Veritas, Facebook has various conservative websites marked with the words deboost. Exactly. Remember how my Facebook traffic disappeared for about a year? Remember that? It just went away. And all I could get is anytime I pushed Facebook on the radio show, I got traffic. Anytime I didn't, there was nothing there. And then all of a sudden, I had a flood of thousands of people coming into the page every single day. And I was like, they must have forgotten about me. And then all of a sudden, it's back on. And we had huge growth in that period. So Steven Crowder is on this list of pages to deboost. Let's see. Louderwithcrowder.com says, we'd say that we're surprised, but we're not. We came in around 3:30, but this whole video needs to be watched. And so basically, he's sharing the Project Veritas video. According to the insider at Facebook, the documents revealed a routine suppression of the distribution of conservative Facebook pages, the technical action that she repeatedly saw, and for which Project Veritas was provided documentation, was labeled Action Deboost Live Distribution. Crowder does his show live. So live video on Facebook is pushed above all content. So if you have a major personality doing a live video, they're going to show up at the top of the list when they're live. So Facebook has active deboosting that is happening for live content from conservative curators. And they are basically making them less noticeable to people who are looking for live videos at the time. I would see this term appear on several different conservative pages. I first noticed it with an account that I can't remember, but I remember once I started looking at it. I also saw it on Mike Cernovich's page. I saw it on Steven Crowder's page, as well as the Daily Caller's page. Interesting. So the lawyer, half Asian lawyer is what they call him, over at Steven Crowder. Louder with Crowder is investigating the allegations of concealed stream throttling by Facebook. The accusations are deeply troubling given the previously settled dispute with Facebook uncovered by Gizmodo.com, which found the show was targeted by Facebook workers with secret audience restrictions on political grounds alongside other prominent conservative voices. Let's not forget that Crowder also had an issue. I mean, he's had several. He's also had an issue with Twitter where he paid Twitter to create the ad for his show. He was a Facebook, YouTube guy. He didn't actively participate in Twitter. So he said, I'll have Twitter create the ads with their guidelines. So he was paying Twitter to make his ad for him and then publish the ad, and Twitter banned that same ad, the ad that they created. Then they said it did not meet with their terms of service, but Twitter created the ad and he paid them for it. So, they actively scammed him. So he says that, I guess, next week, if I remember correctly from what the listeners were saying on the live stream earlier, I guess he'll have a decision on what he's going to do next week with this. But it's just more proof that all of the suspicions that we have had, all the anecdotal evidence that we have now has hard, concrete evidence that they're actively going out there and trying to throttle conservatives. And the idea is they don't want people to see them. They don't want people to hear them. They don't want people to be able to find them. And eventually what they want is for these conservatives to leave the platform altogether. That's what their goal is. All right, folks, you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us today and for joining us on the video live stream as well. We'll see you Monday.
At DJ Construction, we're building into...
Yeah, O'Keefe's only on, day 2 of this, right? So he's going to have probably 2-3 more days of this, depending on how much content he has. Whew. All right.
DJ Construction. We live here, we care here. DJ Construction, building into our community. When it's time to build,
Will do. Thank you.
John asked where you got the CPAC video. If you can do this on the show.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show prep, which will be posted at theburningtruth.us in 5 minutes. So just go there for the daily show prep. You'll see it. It's in there. Got all the links to it. But, you can, if you wanted to Google search it, you can. I'd rather you get it from my website. But you don't have to. It's called Fight On for CPAC 2019. So as long as you do Fight On CPAC, you should find it. But I'll put it up on the website here in just a couple of minutes.
I'll put a link to the website. Chat in just a few seconds.
TheBurningTruth.us. Ho dilly dally. All right. So I just got to add this last link to the daily show prep, and then I will publish.
And link is in
cool.
chat.
Yep. It'll be the second to last link in there as soon as I get it all set up through my system. All right.
That looks like an air gun.
I can't see enough of it from this angle. Although one of my catalogs did send me a flyer for a fully automatic airsoft AR. Yeah. I was like,
Yep. I could tell because the slide looked way too together. Because that's exactly what mine looks like.
Man, full auto airsoft. I'm not gonna lie, I'd have some fun with that.
Yeah, those things are fun. I had a friend of mine who had one of those.
I like being able to shoot it. I figure I'm gonna start loading up on airsoft just so I have some. If I want to go shoot in a residential area, I can.
Have the accuracy tests. It'll just be easy to shoot.
Exactly. It's more like blowing off steam.
That's good.
In
I
games.
had a friend who had a really, really nice airsoft sniper.
Hi, I'm
Bolt action.
Sweet.
Felt like
America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon.
Came with a-
So if buying a new home is
3X
on your
scope,
to-do
though.
list, right now is the time to call Quicken
Sounds
Loans.
awesome.
Learn about what mortgage options make
All right, everybody. So daily show prep will be up in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream. But thank you so much. And yep, her birthday's coming. It's coming. So Yeah, lost my train of thought. Have a great weekend. We will see you Monday. And if you're out in New Carlisle tomorrow, swing by the Second Amendment Arms booth at the Crown Event Center. And I look forward to seeing you all out there. All right, take care.